So good evening all of you. How are you all doing? So those of you who appeared, कैसा गया CSAT paper? How was it? Easy, moderate level or difficult? So what is your kind of analysis about this CSAT paper, especially those of you who appeared? Because I am getting different kind of feedbacks from different students. One of the common feedback is that few of the questions were really kind of lengthy, and there were many questions in which there's no kind of shortcut or trick applicable. So therefore this year question paper, if I talk about maths and reasoning part, we know there are mainly three parts: verbal ability, that is reading comprehension, passages part, then we have quantitative aptitude and reasoning. Now I will be taking the discussion of quantitative aptitude and reasoning. Now if you go through the entire question paper, you will find too many pyare questions. So what do we mean by pyare questions? It means yes, the difficulty level for those questions was what? High, and lengthy questions were there. See, the problem with many of the questions this year was that they were difficult as well as many questions were lengthy. Okay, there were very few questions in which you can directly apply any shortcut or trick. So considering everything, okay, after going through the entire paper, I believe that selection of questions played very important role. And as I generally say, okay, this is my most common statement, that in the exam of CSAT, the most important rule is that you don't have to attempt all the questions. आपको कुछ questions छोड़ने भी होते हैं. And the thing is, you must be able to identify what all questions you need to skip, you need to leave. Because you can find out around 30, 35 questions, 40 questions, the passages were easier in comparison to the last year. Maths and reasoning was tougher. So overall, yes, you can select around 35-40 questions. You can attempt. If 5-7 questions go wrong out of 40 questions, still you can easily qualify. Now all of you, as I always say, here in this exam, accuracy plays very important role. Okay, it's not all about your speed, it's about the accuracy also. And the fundamentals, the concept building questions, because as I said, there are very few questions in which you can directly apply any shortcut, any trick. All were what? Conceptual questions. You have to apply your logic, then only you can solve the questions. So all of you, I'll be taking the discussion, and few of the questions I'll be not, few of the questions which I find that yes, it's very important to discuss, we'll discuss in detail. Rest of the questions will just discuss it normally. Okay. So here, see, the questions I have taken, the question numbering is according to the booklet A of your this year CSAT paper. Now starting with the first question, okay, here it says what is the value of x in the sequence. So in this sequence, it means you have to find out kind of pattern, and based on the pattern you have to find out the term here. Now here in this case, all of you, 20, 10, then 10, 15, 30, 75, and then next term you have to find out. Now all of you, what is the relation? 20 into 0.5, that is half, we get 10. 10 into 1, we get 10. then 10 into 1.5 we get 15, 15 into 2 we get 30, 30 into 2.5, 30 into 2.5 we get 75. So what will be the next term? The next term will be 75 into 3. So 75 into 3, all of you will get what? 225. So this was one of the kind of easiest question of this paper. So you can easily solve it. Now all of you look at the next question. Now this question number 5th. Now all of you, this is one of the difficult, or we can say this is one of the pyara question. Okay. So all of you just read the question once. Given an identity card has the number A, B, C, D, E, F, G, that is there are 7 digits, okay, not necessarily in that order, where each letter represents a distinct digit, clearly given 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. The number is divisible by 9. Okay, so one thing is clear, the number is divisible by 9 after deleting the first digit from the right. Okay, the resulting number is divisible by 6 after deleting 2 digits from the right of the original number. The resulting number is divisible by 5 after deleting 3 digits from the right of the original number. The resulting number is divisible by 4 after deleting 4 digits from the right of the original number. The resulting number is divisible by 3 after deleting 5 digits from the right of the original number. The resulting number is divisible by 2. Which of the following is a possible value for sum of the middle 3 digits of the number? So it is asking us which one of the following is the possible value for sum of the middle 3 digits. So now all of you here in this question, this given contains total how many digits? There are total 7 digits here. Now this number is given divisible by 9. So number is divisible by 9, sum of the digits 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 5 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9. It is divisible by 9. We know the divisibility rule for 9. Now all of you given here, after deleting the first digit from the right. Now please be very attentive. After deleting first digit from the right, that is if we leave this digit, then the remaining number is divisible by 6. Now all of you, remaining number is given divisible by 6. Now here in this case, this complete number is divisible by 9, and if we leave the last digit, then the remaining number will be divisible by 6. Now all of you here in this case, if we take this complete number, if it is divisible by 9, it means it is divisible by 3, as well as this 6 digit number, it is divisible by 6, it means it is divisible by 3. So this complete 7 digit number is also divisible by 3, this 6 digit number is also divisible by 3. Now all of you, out of all the digits 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8 and 9, here out of all these digits only 9 is divisible by 3. So all of you, if 9 is only divisible by 3, then here the only possibility of the last digit is what? 9. Because this 7 digit number is also divisible by 3, and if you leave 9, then the remaining number is also divisible by 3. So it is only possible when the last digit will be what? 9, because rest of the digits, they are not divisible by 3. This thing is clear. Now as well as if this remaining 6 digit number is divisible by 6, we know divisibility rule for 6, that is 2 and 3. If it has to be divisible by 2 also, then certainly the last digit must be either 2 or 4 or 8. the last digit has to be either 2, 4 or 8. This is the only possibility of last digit. Now all of you here, so now given after deleting 2 digits, now if you are deleting 2 digits, then the remaining number is divisible by 5. Now all of you, if this remaining number is divisible by 5, then one thing is clear, that here the digit will be what? 5. The last digit of this number is 5. We know the divisibility rule for 5, last digit has to be what? Either 0 or 5. So only possibility here is 5, there is no 0 here. So here 5. Now again all of you just read further, after deleting 3 digits from the right, the resulting number is divisible by 4. Now if you delete these 3, resulting number is divisible by 4. So again here it means the last digit will be what? Either 2 or 4 or 8. Similarly, after deleting this, the remaining digits, okay, this remaining 3 digit, it must be divisible by 3. And then if you delete this also, then the remaining 2 digits, this is divisible by 2. It means here also it can be either 2 or 4 or 8. So now all of you, here we find that out of this 7-digit number, 9 is fixed here at the 7th place, 5 is fixed here at the 5th place. Now at the 6th, 4th and 2nd place, you can have either 2 or 4 or 8. Now all of you, what is the possibility? Now please, I always ask you all to look at the options. As soon as you read the question, you must look at the options. Now here you have to find out which of the following is possible value for sum of the middle 3 digits. It means you have to find out the sum of these 3 digits. You have to find out the sum of these 3 digits. So what are the possibilities? Now here at this place, can we have 8? 5 plus 8 will become what? 13. Sum is not even 13. So 8 is cancelled out. If we have here 4, so 5 plus 4 it becomes 9. 5 plus 4 it becomes 9. And then here, what is the possible value? We know that certainly this place will be occupied by odd digit. So here we can have 1 or 5 or 7. If we have here 1, then in that case 5 plus 4, 9 plus 1, 10. 10 is not there in the option. If we have here 5, 5 is already occupied, we can't have 5 here. If we have here 7, then 5 plus 4, 9 plus 7, 16. Again this is not also in one of the option. So this is also cancelled out. It means you cannot have here 4. Now the only possibility remaining here is, that of 2. So if you have here 5 and then 5 and then you have here 2, then you can have here 1, and then 5 plus 2 plus 1, that is 8. 8 is one of the possible answers. 8 is one of the possible answers. So all of you, what will be the answer here? The answer here will be option A, that is 8. Now all of you look at the next question. Now this is one of the easier question again. See, I always say that direction sense test, this is one of the kind of easiest topic of your CSAT, and the best part is every year you get question from this topic. So here now all of you just read the question. This is very simple. Two friends X and Y start running and they run together for 50 meter in the same direction. So X and Y, they run 50 meter in the same direction, and reach a point x, turns right. So now from here x turns right and run 60 meter, while y turns left and run 40 meter. Now from here x turns left and run 50 meter, and here y turns right and runs 50 meter. It means they will be in what? They will be in a straight line. Now how far are the two friends from each other? So this distance is 40 meter, this is 60 meter, so 40 plus 60, 100. So you can easily answer 100 meter. This is one such question where all of you must get the correct answer. Now all of you, this next question, is again tricky one, because see, generally the type of questions which we have got from calendar till date, okay, none of the questions have been kind of formula based question, okay. So today also will not solve it taking the help of the formula, will be solving it with the help of the reference date. Now here you have to find out which date of the June 2099 among following is Sunday. So you have to find out which date of the June 2099 is Sunday. So all of you here, we take the reference, okay, we take the reference date as today only, 5th of June, okay, is Sunday. Now all of you from 5th of June 2022 Sunday till 5th of June, okay, 5th of June 2099, let's just find out the number of odd days, because the concept of calendar revolves around the odd days. We know that if we have to find out the number of days, okay, then we know the number of days and the number of weeks, that is we divide by 7, whatever remainder we get, that we call it as odd days. In a normal year, we get one odd day, that is from 5th June 2022. If I ask you all which day will be 5th of June 2023, that is next year, so certainly it will be what? One day ahead, that is Monday, because in a normal year we get one odd day. And in leap year we get 2 odd days. So now from 2022 to 2099, okay, total how many leap years will be there? See, we know in total 99 years there will be 24 leap year, because after every 4 years we get leap years, so 24 leap years. Now out of 24 leap years, 2004, 8, 12, 16, 20, that is 5 leap years gone. It means there will be 19 leap years. There will be 19 leap years plus here total how many years in between? 77 years. So it means how many normal years you get? 77 minus 19, that is 58. So all of you, in 19 leap year, how many odd days you get? 19 into 2, that is 38. So in 38 you finally get 3 odd days, and in 58 normal year, 58 into 1, that is 58. That is in 58 you divide by 7, whatever remainder you get, 2 odd days, okay, that is total we get 5 odd days. So all of you, if we are getting total 5 odd days, it means 5th of June 2099. 5th of June 2099 will be what? Which day? It will be just you move 5 days ahead. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So Friday, all of you. So 5th of June will be what? Friday. So certainly 6th of June will be Saturday, 7th of June will be Sunday. So what will be the answer? 7. I hope it is clear to all of you. Now all of you, next question number 8 given. A bill of rupees 1840 is paid in the denominations of rupees 50, 20 and 10 rupee notes. 50 notes in all are used. Consider the following statements. Okay. Now you have to check the validity of these statements. Okay. First, second and third, 25 notes of 50 are used and the remaining are in the denominations of 20 and 10. Then 35 notes of 20 are used and the remaining are in the denominations of 50 and 10, and third 20 notes of 10 are used and the remaining are in the denominations of 50 and 20. So now all of you, here in this case you will have to check for each statement. Okay, you will have to check for each statement. Now here, if there are 25 notes of 50, so what will be the total value? I will just give you the hint. Okay, you solve it in the same manner. 25 into 50, what will be the total value? 1250. So 1250 will be the total value. Now if 1250 will be the total value and the total amount is what? Rupees 1840, then it means certainly all of you, what must be the value of the remaining? 1840 minus 1250. So 1840 minus 1250, all of you, we get how much? 590. And now in this case, see, here there are now only 20 and 10 rupee notes available. 25 notes already gone. Total 50 notes are there. It means how many notes will be remaining? 25 notes. Now if I take all 25 notes of 20 rupees, then still 25 into 20 will be what? 500 only, because the other note is what? Smaller in value. So if all the notes are of 20 rupees, still you cannot have the remaining money. It means one is wrong. So all of you here in this case, similarly you check second statement and third statement. You will find all the three statements are wrong. All the three statements are wrong. Now here this question, you have to find out which number among 2 to the power 40, 3 to the power 21, 4 to the power 18 and 8 to the power 12 is the smallest one. Okay. So now all of you here in this case, see, first what you need to do, you need to just express this 4 and 8 also in terms of your 2. So here this is 2 to the power 40, 4 to the power 18 means what? 4 is 2 square. So 2 square whole to the power 18, it will become 2 to the power 36. And similarly 8 to the power 12. So now 8 is what? 2 cube. So if 8 is 2 cube, then 8 to the power 12 will be what? 2 to the power 3 into 12, that is 2 to the power 36. It means these both the values, they are same. Now here this is 2 to the power 36, this is 2 to the power 40. Definitely 2 to the power 40 is what? Greater. Now because remember you have to find out which number amongst them is the smallest. So now you have to compare 2 to the power 36 and 3 to the power 21. So now between 36 and 21, okay, what is the common factor? 3. So this can be written as 2 to the power 12 into 3. This can be written as 3 to the power 7 into 3. So this becomes 2 to the power 12 whole cube and 3 to the power 7 whole cube. Now all of you just check between 2 to the power 12 and 3 to the power 7, which one is greater? You will find that 2 to the power 12 is what? Greater. 2 to the power 12 is greater. I think 3 to the power 7 will come out to be 2187 and this one is 4096. So definitely this one will be greater. So what will be your answer here? Your answer is 3 to the power 21. Your answer is 3 to the power 21. Now all of you here read the next question number 10. Now here in this question number 10, again this is one of the pyara question. Digits 1 to 9 are arranged in 3 rows in such a way that each row contains 3 digits and the number formed in the first row and the number formed in the third row is thrice the number formed in the first row. A repetition of digits is not allowed if only 3 of the 4 digits 2, 3, 7 and 9 are allowed to use in the first row. How many such combinations are possible to be arranged in the 3 rows? So now all of you here in this case, out of these 3 places can be filled by only 2, 3, 7 and 9. Now all of you, if I talk about this place, okay. Now here clearly given that the number formed in the third row is what? Here this number is thrice that of the first row. This number here is what? Twice that of the first row. Then all of you, definitely you cannot have here 7 or 9. Definitely you can't have here 7 or 9 because then this number will be 700 something. 700 something into 2 will be what? 1400 something, that is a 4-digit number. Again this number you cannot have here 9. You cannot have here 9 because again this 900 something. So here into 2 1800 something, into 3 2700 something. So it means this space cannot be filled by 7 or 9. So you can have here only 2 or 3. Only 2 or 3. So now all of you here in this case, what are the only possibilities? See now after hit and trial only. Now after this through hit and trial you can find that this first row, in this first row you can have only 273 or 327. These are the only 2 possibilities. These are the only 2 possibilities. Okay, you can have here 273 or you can have here 327 such that the number in the second row is what? Twice and the number in the third row here is what? Thrice. So all of you, what will be the answer? The answer will be option C, that is 2. The answer will be option C, that is 2. Now question number 15. Now question number 15 given X and Y run a 3 km race along a circular course of length 300 meter. Their speeds are in the ratio 3:2. If they start together in the same direction, how many times would the first one pass the other? The start off is now not counted as passing. Okay. So now all of you, this is a circular track of 300 meter. X and Y, they start running in the same direction. Okay. Their speeds are in the ratio of 3:2. Their speeds are in the ratio of 3:2. Now here all of you, in case of circular racetrack, thing is, when X will complete one round, that is for example when X, because the ratio of their speed is given 3:2. So when X will complete 300 meter, then Y will complete how much? 200 meter. What will be the distance between them? If suppose X is here, after completing one round X is here, then Y would be somewhat around here, 200 meter. So all of you, there will be gap. When X will complete 600 meter, that is when X will complete 2 rounds, then Y will complete what distance? 400 meter. when x will complete 3 rounds, that is when x will complete 3 rounds, then y will complete how many rounds? 2 rounds. Now all of you please remember that in case of circular track, as soon as the distance between the two person, it becomes equal to length of the racetrack, or it becomes equal to 1 round, they meet each other. They meet each other. So all of you here, the easier concept is that when x will be making 3 rounds, completing 3 rounds, y would be completing 2 rounds, that is the distance between them would be what? Exactly 1 round. And it means x would have completed 3 rounds and will reach here, y would have completed 2 rounds and would have reached here. Certainly they will meet each other. So now all of you, when x completes 3 rounds, then how much distance x has already covered? 900 meter na. X has already covered 900 meter. Now remember, this is a 3 kilometer racetrack. This is a 3 kilometer racetrack. So certainly x will meet after 900 meter, then 1800 meter, further 900 meter, and then 2700 meter. That is how many times will meet? 3 times. How many times x will meet y? 3 times. Now all of you, this is kind of one of the easiest question if the order of the letters in the English alphabet is reversed, okay, and each letter represents the letter whose position it occupies, then which one of the following represents Lucknow? So now all of you here, in this case what happens? See, the simple concept is that we know there are total 26 alphabets, okay. If from left hand side, if the position of L, is 12th, position of L is 12th, then what will be the position of L from right hand side? Right hand side, the position will be what? 26 plus 1 minus 12, that is 15. So if the position of L is 12th from left end, then from right end the position of L will be what? 15th. So it means now L will be replaced by which alphabet? It will be replaced by the alphabet whose original position will be what? 15th from left, because the alphabets, they are written in the reverse order. So 15th from left, see, just this is just for explaining the concept. So 15th from left, L 12, M 13, N 14, O 15. Therefore L is replaced by what? O. L is replaced by O. Is it clear to all? So now all of you, in these type of questions, now look at the options carefully. Remember, whenever you read the question, you look at the options, because you have to take the help of the options. So now in options we find that, see, last D, E, D, E, as well as second G, G, F, F, okay. So now here, if we just check the second one, if we just check the second and the last alphabet, that by which letter it will be replaced, we can find out the answer. We can find out the answer. So all of you here, in this case, now U will be replaced by what? U will be replaced by F. U will be replaced by F, because see, what is the position of U from left hand side? 21. T is 20, U is 21. So from right hand side it will be what? 6. From right hand side it will be 6. So what is the 6th letter from the left hand side? F. So here you have F. And similarly W is 23rd, that is 4th from right hand. It is easy, W X Y Z. So now if W is 4th from right hand, it will be replaced by 4th from left hand, that is D. So your answer is option D. Your answer is option D. Now all of you here, next question. In a tournament of chess having 150 entrants, a player is eliminated whenever he loses a match. It is given that no match results in a tie or draw. How many matches will be there? Okay, played in the entire tournament. So all of you, in the entire tournament, how many matches will be played? So now here in these type of questions, the simple concept is that this is the case of what? Knockout matches are played. Okay, loser is eliminated. So if there are 50 teams, we know any match is always played between two teams. So if initially there are 150 teams, then how many matches will be played? 75 matches will be played. Then if there are 75 teams, then how many matches will be played? Okay, now 37 matches will be played and then one team will be remaining. So you will have total kind of for 38 teams, because this one team will be there. So now you have 37 and then one team remaining here, that is for 38 teams. Now how many matches will be played? 19 matches. Now for this 19 teams, how many matches will be there played? 9 matches. And then 9 2 18, one team remaining of here and these 9 teams. So you get total 10 teams. Now for these 10 teams, how many matches? 5 matches will be played. Now for these 5 teams, 2 match, that is 2 into 2, 4 teams. One team will be remaining. 2 team here, 1 team here, 3. Again 1 and 1 from here, 1 from here, that is from 2 teams, again 1 match. So total number of matches played will be what? 75 plus 37 plus 19 plus 9 plus 5 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1. See, we are not using any formula, just by the basic concept we are solving the questions. Because our focus, see, CSAT is all about your basic aptitude. If you don't remember the formula, if your concept is clear, yes, you can solve the questions. Now next, question number 18. Now given here, how many 3-digit natural numbers without repetition of digits are there, such that each digit is odd and the number is divisible by 5. Now all of you, if number is divisible by 5, then one thing is clear, that in this 3-digit number, definitely the unit digit, that is the last digit, will be what? 5. Okay. Now here clearly given each digit is odd, so certainly you cannot have here 0, 5. And now distinct digits, okay, no repetition is allowed. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, okay, 5 is already occupied. So this place can be filled in how many ways? 4 ways. And then this space can be filled in how many ways? 3 ways, because repetition is not allowed. So now this place can be filled in only 1 way. See, remember, this 5 is only 1 way, okay. So total number of ways will become what? 3 into 4, that is 12. That is, you can have 1, 3, 7 and 9 here at these 2 places in how many ways? 3 into 4, that is 12 ways. Now next question, consider the question and 2 statements given below. The question is x an integer? Statement first, x by 3 is not an integer. So all of you here in this case, which one of statement 2 is 3x is an integer? Which one of the following is correct in respect of the question and the statement? You have to just check statement 1 alone is sufficient to answer, statement 2 alone is sufficient. Now if I take statement 1, x by 3 is not an integer, okay. So if I take x as 2 or if I take x as 2 by 3, so in both the cases 2 by 3 here and then 2 by 3 into 3, that is 2 by 9, both not an integer. So definitely you cannot say whether x is integer or not. And using second statement alone, 3x, again 3 into 2, that is 6, it becomes an integer, and 2 by 3 into 3, it becomes 2, that again we are getting an integer, whether x is integer or not, 3x we are getting an integer, so statement 2 alone is also not sufficient. Now similarly all of you combining both these statements, also you cannot find out, okay, that whether x is an integer or not. So here what will be the answer? The answer will be option D, both statements 1 and 2 are not sufficient to answer the question. Now next question is, the increase in the price of a certain item was 25%, then the price was decreased by 20% and then again increased by 10%. What is the resultant increase in the price? See, these type of the questions, the best approach is you take the initial value as 100, because with respect to 100 the calculations are very easier. So 100 is first increased by 25%. So the new value becomes what? 125. Now this 125 is decreased by 20%. So now all of you, this 125 is decreased by 20%. So what will be 20% of 125? So 20% of 125 is what? 25. So 125 minus 25, you get again 100. And given that now this 100, this value, it is increased by 10%. So now it is again increased by 10%. So 100 increased by 10%, what will be the final value? 110. So what is the resultant increase? So initial price was 100, final price 110. So what is the increase? 10. So 10 is what percent of 100? 10%. Now all of you read the next question. Now here what you have to find out? You have to find out that letters A, B, C, D and E are arranged in such a way that there are exactly 2 letters between A and E. How many such arrangements are possible? So now all of you here, if it is saying there are exactly 2 letters between A and D, so if it means if A is here, E can be here, or if A is here, E can be here. So now remaining 3 letters, okay, can be arranged in these 3 places in how many ways? 3 factorial, that is 6 ways. Here again same thing, remaining 3 letters can be arranged in how many ways? 3 factorial, that is 6 ways. So we get 6 plus 6, that is 12 ways. Now all of you, A and E can interchange their position also. You can have E here, A here, E here, A here. Again you will get 6 and 6, that is 12. So total it becomes 12 plus 12, that is 24. Total it becomes 12 plus 12, that is 24. Now all of you look at the next question. Now all of you look at the next question, question number 25 given. Consider the question and the two statements given below. Statement first. Now all of you here actually see, the thing is here the question is actually this question number 25, there is some here small error. This question number 25 is from here, okay. This question number 25 is from here. The question is, consider the question and the two statements given below, okay. So all of you, okay, this is not part of this question. This is not part of this question, okay. See here, the question is, this is question number 25 only, okay, of your booklet A. The question is Z brother of X? You have to check which one of the following statement is correct in respect of the question. Now here statement first says X is brother of Y. So X is brother of Y. See here in blood relation question what we do, males we represent by square boxes, females we represent by circle. So X is brother of Y. So X is brother of Y. And Y is brother of Z. So Y is brother of Z. So now using first statement alone, the question is Z brother of X? Now all of you, we know the gender of X, we know the gender of Y, but the gender of Z is not clear. So we don't know whether Z is brother or sister of X, okay. So definitely statement first alone is not sufficient. Now second statement is X, Y and Z are siblings. Now using this second statement, X, Y and Z are siblings, can you find out whether Z is brother of X? No, you cannot find out. Now combining first and second statement also, you cannot find out, because the problem was the gender of Z in statement first. Now definitely taking the help of the second statement also you cannot find out the Z of Z. So therefore here both the statements together also not sufficient to answer the question. Now all of you here, on one side of a 1.01 kilometer long road, 101 plants are planted at equal distance from each other. What is the total distance between 5 consecutive plants? So all of you, you have to find out the distance between 5 consecutive plants. Now in these type of questions, all of you please keep one thing in mind, that if there are 5 consecutive plants, then this gap will be counted how many times? Only 4 times. This gap will be counted how many times? The total distance between first and the 5th plant, here this gap will be counted how many times? 4 times only. Is it clear? So therefore all of you, now here 101 plants are planted at equal distance, okay. So what is the total distance between 5 consecutive plants? So now here how many gaps are there? If 101, it means how many gaps are there if 101 plants are planted. So all of you please remember, see the thing is, if 2 plants are planted, how many gap will be there? Only 1 gap. If 3 plants are planted, then how many gap will be there? 2 gaps between the consecutive plants, okay. So here if there are 101 plants, so total there will be how many gaps? There will be 100 gaps. Now we know that 100 gaps is equal to what? 1.01 kilometer. 100 gaps is equal to 1.01 kilometer. Then all of you, what will be the value of 1 gap? The value of 1 gap will be 10.1 meter. So the value of 4 gaps will be what? 10.1 into 4, that is 40.4 meter. That is 40.4 meter. So the answer here is option B, 40.4 meter. Now given A, B and C are three places such that there are three different roads from A to B, four different roads from B to C and three different roads from A to C. In how many different ways can one travel from A to C using these roads? So all of you, between A and B there are three different roads. Between B and C there are four different roads. Okay. So and given between A and C there are three different roads. So all of you, between A and C three different roads. So definitely in how many ways? Three ways. A to C here, either through this road or through this road or through this one. Now here total number of ways, A to B 3 and B to C 4. B to C is 4. Then total how many ways? A can reach C 3 into 4, that is 12 ways. So through this method 12 ways and here 3 ways. So total it becomes 12 plus 3, 15 ways. Total it becomes 12 plus 3, 15 ways. Now question number 28, given A has some coins, he gives half of the coins and 2 more to B. B gives half of the coins and 2 more to C. C gives half of the coins and 2 more to D. The number of coins D has now is the smallest 2-digit number. How many coins does A have in the ringing? So now here beginning, here this is beginning. How many coins A have in the beginning? So now all of you here in this case, these type of questions now, if you find difficulty in framing the equation and solving it, the best way is solving the question through the options. Solving the question through the options. See, remember, through the options also it won't take much time, but yes, through the options you can find out the accurate answer. For example, A, okay, so if A has 76 coins, he gives half of the coins. So half of 76 is what? 38 and 2 more, 38 plus 2, 40. B gives half of 40, so half of 40 is what? 20 and 2 more, that is 20 plus 2, 22. C gives half of the coins, so half of 22, that is 11, and 11 plus 2, that is 13. Now given the number of coins D has is the smallest 2-digit number. So is 13 the smallest 2-digit number? No. You can easily cancel out. See, it won't take much time, just option B, 68. So 68, half of 68 is 34 and then 34 plus 2, 36. Now B gives to C half of 36, that is 18. 18 plus 2, that is 20, and then C to D half of 20, that is 10. 10 plus 2, you get 12. So is 12 the smallest 2-digit number? No. This is also cancelled. 60, half of 60, 30, and then 30 plus 2, 32. Then half of 32, 16. 16 plus 2, that is 18. And then half of 18, that is 9. And then 9 plus 2, you get 11. Is it clear to all of you? So how many coins does A have in the beginning? And then if you want, you can check for D also. If you have any confusion, you check for D. 26 plus 2, 28. Half of 28, 14. 14 plus 2, 16. 16. And then half of 16, that is 8. 8 plus 2 you get what? 10. So now all of you, what is the correct answer here? The correct answer is option D, that is 52. What is the smallest 2-digit number? Smallest 2-digit number is 10. Smallest 2-digit number is 10. So all of you just keep in mind, the smallest 2-digit number is 10. So here the answer is what? Option D. I hope it is clear to all. Now next question. Now all of you, here next question given in the series, this A B, A B C, A B C D, A B C D E. Okay, here which letter appears at the 13th place? So now all of you here in this question, this is kind of total A 1 term, then A B 2 terms, then A B C 3 terms, then A B C D 4 terms, then A B C D E 5 terms. So all of you just applying the concept of what? Arithmetic progression. Applying the concept of arithmetic progression. So all of you in this way you can find out that total 13, up to 13 terms will be complete. In such manner 13 terms means what? 13 this terms in this form A, AB, ABC, ABCD, ABCDE. In this manner there will be total 13 and it will go till 91. It will go till 91. And then the 100th place, this will be the part of the 14th term in this manner. So here what will be the 9th term? So 9th term is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. So all of you, what is the answer here? I. What is the answer here? I. So applying the concept of arithmetic progression, you can just solve it. Now here all of you, given 3 persons A, B, C are standing in a queue, not necessarily in the same order. There are 4 persons between A and B and 7 persons between B and C. If there are 11 persons between B and C and 13 behind A, what could be the minimum number of persons in the queue? So now all of you here in this question, you have to find out the minimum number of persons in the queue. So all of you here, A and B, there are 4 persons between A and B. Okay. Remember, your target is to find out the minimum number of persons in the queue. And given there are 7 persons between B and C, 7 persons between B and C, certainly you don't want to have C here. Okay. So 7 persons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now you have C here. Okay. And then given if there are 11 persons between B and C and 13 behind A. Now all of you here, if there are 11 persons, see there is printing error here. Here the actual question is, if there are 11 persons ahead of C. Okay. If there are 11 persons ahead of C and 13 behind A. See, this is clear till now. There are 4 persons between A and B and 7 persons between B and C. 4 persons between A and B, 7 persons between B and C. Now given, if there are 11 persons ahead of C and 13 behind A, what could be the minimum number of persons in the queue. So now here in this case given 11 persons ahead of C. So all of you here, now there are two ways, 11 persons ahead of C, so you can have 11 here and 13 behind A. So 13 behind A, so here after A, okay, you can have 13. Okay. So now in this case total number of person will become what? 11 plus 13, here 11 plus 13 24, and then 25, 26, 27, 28. In this case the total number of person in the queue becomes 28. But all of you always keep in mind that here your target is to find out what? The minimum number of persons in the queue. So now all of you again the same thing. Now here if we take 11 persons ahead of C, so here now if I take this one as 11, okay, and 13 persons behind Q, because now I am taking the Q in this manner. So now 13 persons behind Q. So all of you, now what will be the total number of person in this queue? 11, 13, 11 plus 13 you get how much? 24, and then these two persons they are common, so 24 minus 2 you get 22. Remember your target here is to find out the minimum number of person in the queue. So minimum number here will be what? 22. Now all of you, next question is how many seconds in total are there in X week, X days, X hours, X minutes and X second. Now all of you here in this question, the best approach is that you take for 1 second, 1 minute, 1 hour, you don't have to do the exact calculation, just looking at the values you can find out the overall result. So if 1 second plus 1 minute plus 1 hour plus 1 day plus 1 week. Okay. So if I ask you all what will be the total number of seconds here, because x is common, so certainly you can take x outside, x second plus x minute plus x hour, so you can take x common. So 1 second 1 plus in 1 minute how many seconds you get? 1 into 60, that is 60 seconds. Now in 1 hour how many seconds you get? 60 into 60 seconds, plus in 1 day how many seconds you get? 24 into 60 into 60, that is 24 into 3600, and then plus in 1 week how many you will get? 24 into 3600 into 7. Now all of you here in this case, this is what? 60, this is 3600, this is 24 into 3600, this is 24 into 3600 into 7. Now here also unit digit will be 0, here also unit digit will be 0, here also unit digit 0, here also unit digit 0. Here unit digit is what? 1. So sum will certainly have 1 as the unit digit. So sum will certainly have 1 as the unit digit, this is clear. So you can easily cancel out option A and C. You can easily cancel out option A and C. Now between option B and D, all of you, again no need of doing exact calculation. See here the value, this is 1, this is just 11581. Here this is just 11581, and all of you, you tell me 1 plus 60 plus 3600 plus 24 into 3600 plus 24 into 3600 into 7, when you will calculate, certainly you will get the value which will be greater than 11581. So all of you, no need of doing exact calculation, directly here 1 plus 60 plus 3600 plus 24 into 3600 plus this one, you can easily eliminate option B also, and you can find out the correct answer, that is option D. You can find out the correct answer, that is option D. Now all of you, here next question. P, Q, R, S, T and U are 6 members of family. R is the spouse of Q, U is the mother of T and S is the daughter of U. So here all of you, R is the spouse of Q, U is the mother of T. So U is the mother of T and S is the daughter of U. S is the daughter of U. So S is the daughter of U. Okay. P's daughter is T. So P's daughter is T, it means definitely P will be here. Okay, P's daughter U and P will be what? Or one of the couple. Okay. And R's son is P. Now we know R's son is P. So definitely R will be here. This one. Okay. We know R is the spouse of Q. So R and Q are one of the couple. Given there are 2 couples in the family, yes, R, Q and U and P. These are the 2 couples in the family. Which one of the following statement is correct? Now all of you remember, here we cannot find out the gender of R and Q. Q is the grandfather of T. Now all of you, here we cannot find out the gender of Q, therefore your first one will be wrong. B, Q is the grandmother of T, again same way, we don't know the gender of Q, wrong. C, R is the mother of P, again we don't know the gender of R, wrong. Next, T is the granddaughter of Q. So all of you, given T is the granddaughter of Q, will it be correct? Yes, this one will be correct. Because remember all of you, P's daughter is T. This was clearly given. It was clearly given that P's daughter is what? T. We know the gender of T. All of you, we know the gender of T. T is a female, therefore T is the granddaughter of Q. This is absolutely correct. Because we know the gender of T. Consider the question and the 2 statements given below in respect of 3 cities P, Q and R in the state. How far is city P from Q? Given city Q is 18 km from R. So certainly statement 1 is not sufficient because you don't know relation between P and Q. Statement 2, P is 43 km from city R. Again here using this statement alone you cannot find out. Now combining both the statement, Q is 18 km from R. So if R is here, Q 18 km, okay. Now next given P is 43 km from R. Now we know P is 43 km from R, but we don't know whether P is 43 km here or 43 km here or 43 km here. So P can be anywhere. So definitely you cannot find out how far is P from Q. Definitely you cannot find out how far is P from Q. Now next question, 2 statements are followed by 4 conclusions given below. You have to take the statements to be true. So this is the question of syllogism, okay. So first statement is all pens are books. So all of you, given all pens are books. So this is pen, so this is book. We know that in case of syllogism we don't try to prove the conclusions correct, we just have to check whether we can prove it wrong. Once wrong, then wrong, it will not be a valid conclusion. So all pens are books. No chair is pen. So no chair is pen, so you can have chair like this here also, you can have chair here also. So both the possibility, because you know that there cannot be any area common between pen and chair, but yes, between pen and book you can have, you cannot have. First, all chairs are books. All chairs are books. So chair here, book here. So through this figure only you can prove this one wrong. Second one, some chairs are pens. Some chairs are pens. chair here, pen here. We know that if no chair is pen, definitely some chairs are pen. It will be always wrong. It will not be a valid conclusion ever. Third one, all books are chair. Now books here, chair here. Now we can have books and chairs separately. No common area between books and chairs. Third conclusion is also wrong. Fourth conclusion, no chair is a book. Now no chair is a book. Now here in this case, if we have chair here and book here, we can have common area between book and chair. So through this figure, okay, we can prove fourth one also wrong. So now all of you here in this case, then what will be the answer? The answer will be none of the conclusion follows. The answer will be none of the conclusion follows. Now again, next question, again syllogism question. First statement, some doctors are teachers. So some doctors are teachers. This is doctors, this is teachers. All teachers are engineers. Now all teachers are engineers. All engineers are scientists. All engineers are scientists. Okay, all engineers are scientists. Okay. Now first conclusion is some scientists are doctors. So scientists and doctors, yes, definitely there will be common area between scientists and doctors. So definitely yes, these scientists, they are doctors also. So first conclusion is true. Second one, all engineers are doctors. So now here these are doctors, these are engineers. So certainly your all engineers are doctors, this one will be wrong, because these engineers, they are not doctors. Third one, some engineers are doctors. So all of you, yes, these engineers, because this total is engineer, so these engineers are what? Doctors also. So third one is also a valid conclusion. So first and third valid conclusion. So all of you, what will be the correct answer here? Option C. Both conclusion first and conclusion third. So all of you, next question. Now read the next question. Eight students A, B, C, D, E, F, G and H are around a circular table equidistant from each other, facing the center of the table, not necessarily in the same order. B and D sit neither adjacent to C nor opposite to C. A sits in between E and D and F sits in between B and H. Which one of the following is definitely correct? It means whatever be the arrangement, okay, we know that at times different arrangements are possible. So which one of the following is definitely correct? It means you have to check whatever be the arrangement. In each of the arrangements, you have to check which one of the given condition is what? True. So 8 students equidistant So just we'll try to form any arrangement, okay, just arrangement in the beginning. B and D sits neither adjacent to C nor opposite to C. A sits in between E and D. A sits in between E and D, so A can be here, E and D can be here. Okay. And F sits in between B and H. F sits in between B and H. So here F can be here, B and H can be here, or F can be here, B and H can be here also. I am just taking F here, okay. Now what else we know? B and D sit neither adjacent to C nor opposite to C. Okay. So B and D sit neither adjacent to C, it means these are not possible. So here, is this arrangement possible? Now all of you tell me, is this arrangement possible? Now here, if B, F, H, they are sitting in this manner, if B, F, H, they are sitting in this manner, then definitely C will have to sit here or here. So now in this case, C will sit what? Adjacent to D or B. It means this is not possible. This is not possible. It means you cannot have C in this manner. Okay. So it means this is wrong. You cannot have BFH like this. See here, few questions we solve as your approach must be in exam. Okay. Because in exam you don't know what can be the possible option. Okay. So now here we have to look at the different possibilities. So here we have to look at the different possibilities. So all of you in the same manner again you check. Okay. A sits in between E and D, so A here, D here, E here. Okay. F sits in between B and H, so F sits in between B and H, so F here, so B, H can be here. Okay. So now if B and H are here, okay, now you can have C here, now you can have C here. Now C is neither adjacent nor opposite to B or D, so B and D are neither adjacent nor opposite. So now in this case, which one of the following is definitely correct? B sits in between A and G. Is B sitting between A and G? No. C sits opposite to G. C sits opposite to G? No. C is not sitting opposite to G. E sits opposite to F. No, E is not sitting opposite to F. So all of you definitely correct means what? Whatever be the possible arrangement, okay, the condition must follow. But now here in this case only we see that it is not followed. Okay. So therefore this one will be wrong. Now next question. Now again this one is also very simple question. 5 friends P, Q, X, Y and Z purchased some notebooks. The relevant information is given below. Z purchased 8 notebooks more than X did, and P and Q together this. Now all of you here, this one becomes very easy. Now see P, you look at second and third statement. All of you just look at second and third statement. P and Q purchased 21. So if P and Q together they purchased 21, so P plus Q will be 21, and given Q purchased 5 notebooks less than P did. So it means P equals to what? Q plus 5. It means P purchased 5 more than Q. So now using first and second, your Q plus 5 plus Q will be 21. Q plus 5 will be equal to 21. So solving it, you get Q equals to what? 8. So if Q equals to 8, then P will be equal to 8 plus 5, 13. Now here given X and Y together purchased 28 notebooks. Given P purchased 5 notebooks more than X did. So if P purchased 5 notebooks more than X did, so X purchased how many notebooks? 5 less than P, that is X also purchased 13 minus 5, that is 8. Now we know X and Y together they purchased 28 notebooks. If X purchased 8 notebooks, then Y purchased how many notebooks? 28 minus 8, that is 20 notebooks. And then the first one, Z purchased 8 notebooks more than X did. So Z will be equal to what? 8 plus 8, 16. So here total, you can find out the total number of what? Notebooks purchased by them. So 8 plus 8, 16, 16, 16, 32, 32 plus 20, 52, and then 13, that is 65. So there are total 65 notebooks, okay, and each notebook costs rupees 40. So what will be the total cost? So total cost will be 65 into 40, that is 2600. Now all of you here in this question, given a man started from home at 14:30 hours and drove to village, arriving there when the village clock indicated 15:15 hours. After staying for 25 minutes, he drove back by a different route of length 1.2 times the first route at a rate twice as fast, reaching home at 1600 hours. As compared to the clock at home, the village clock is. Okay. Now all of you please keep in mind, this is the time indicated by the village clock. This is the time at which he left home. This is the time at which he reached home. Now all of you here, see, applying your common sense, how can you find out first thing whether the village clock is fast or slow? Whether the village clock is fast or slow. So now according to village clock, if he reached at 15:15 and then he stayed for 25 minutes. So if he stayed for 25 minutes, it means he stayed till 15:40. And then it means, if I am assuming the village clock to be correct, okay, then it means in 20 minutes he covered the remaining distance. He covered the distance 1.25 times the earlier distance, if the earlier distance was x. So he covered 1.25 times the distance, though he was moving at double the speed, okay. If earlier the speed was y, then now he is moving at double the speed. Now earlier he was taking from 14:30 to 15:15. This total time is 45 minutes and this time is only 20 minutes. Now all of you tell me that if the watch, the village watch is accurate, then he took 45 minutes to reach village and then in 20 minutes only he returned. Now all of you please remember that yes, his speed was doubled here. His speed was doubled. So all of you please keep in mind that if speed is doubled, then certainly the time will become what? Half. Now if earlier 45 minutes, then half of 45 minutes will be what? 22.5. But remember, the route also here is longer. So route here is longer, then certainly he will take more than 22.5 minutes or not? Yes. So therefore all of you, one thing is definitely clear, that this village watch, it was what? Fast. This village watch was fast. So now all of you here in this case, now these two options cancelled out. Now all of you here, now we have two options, 10 minutes fast and 5 minutes fast. See, if I take the smaller time, okay, because the gap will be lesser. So if I am taking 5 minutes fast, it means the original time would be here 15:10. So if the original time would be 15:10, then how much time he took from home to village? So home to village he took 40 minutes. And then from 15:10, if he stayed for 25 minutes, then it means at what time he left? 15:35. So 15:35 if he left, then village to home. Village to home, he took how much time? 25 minutes. So now all of you here, what is the ratio of the time? 40 is to 25, that is 8 is to 5. Now here, if the ratio of the time is 8 is to 5, then in this case, what will be the ratio of the speed? 5:8. So what will be the ratio of the distance covered? Ratio of the distance covered, here in this case it will become what? 5:8. Now all of you just apply your common sense. See, please be very attentive. 1.25. Here his speed becomes, sorry, the distance becomes 1.25 times. The distance it becomes 1.25 times, but his speed becomes what? Just double. So earlier if I am taking just 1 into 1 as 1, so now 1 into 1.25, that is 1.25, and 1 into 2, that is 2. So what is the ratio of 1.25 is to 2? So the ratio of 1.25 is to 2 is what? 5:8. 5:8. So all of you, yes, we are getting the same ratio here. Therefore, what will be your answer? Your answer will be option D. Now all of you, if you want to solve it without options, see, the simple concept is, he started at 1430, he reached at 1600 hours. In between he stopped for 25 minutes. So total time 1430 and 1600 hours, total time is 90 minutes. Out of this 90 minutes, 25 minutes rest. It means total time was what? 65 minutes. Now this total time of 65 minutes will be divided in what ratio? Same thing I said, 1 into 1 if earlier, then 1 into 1.25, that is 1.25, and 1 into 2, that is 2. So 1.25 is to 2, that is 5:8. So if here, then what will be the ratio of the time? Just 8:5. So now 8:5. So this time you get 40 minutes and this time you get 25 minutes. Remember all of you, the ratio of speed and time are what? Just inversely proportional to each other. So applying this concept you can easily find out. So 40 minutes, then from 1430, 40 minutes later, what will be the exact time? 15:10. But the clock was showing 15:15. It means the village clock was 5 minutes fast. Now all of you here in this question, see, a person X wants to, I'll just give you the hint, okay, this is easier question, you have to just do the calculation. A gets A equals to 2B, A equals to 3C, A equals to 4D, A equals to 5E, and A equals to 6F. So now all of you, here the best way is 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. What is the LCM? 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, the LCM is what? 60. So you assume it equal to 60K. You assume it equal to 60K. So definitely you can find out the value of B, C, D and all. For example, A you can find out A is 60K, then B will be what? 30K, and then C will be 20K and so on. So in this manner you can find out the value of each one and then you can find out the overall answer. So here these type of question, this is the best approach. You assume the overall value equal to the LCM of any other. Equal to the LCM of any other. Is it clear? So all of you, therefore here what is the answer? The answer will be your 294. You get the answer as 294. कर सकते हैं. So now all of you look at the next question, question number 48. Given 6 persons A, B, C, D, E and F are sitting equidistant from each other around a circular table facing the center of the table. Consider the question and two statements given below. The question is, who is sitting on the immediate left of A, B is sitting opposite to C and D is sitting opposite to E, F is sitting on the immediate left of B. So now all of you here, okay, there are total 6 persons, okay. B is sitting opposite to C. So for example, if B is sitting here, C is sitting here. D is sitting opposite to E. So D is sitting opposite to E. I am just using first statement, okay. So now here using this statement, okay, can you find out who is sitting on the immediate left of A? No, definitely we don't know the position of A also here. We cannot find out. Now all of you here in this case, using second statement alone also, F is sitting on the immediate left of B. Using this statement, certainly you cannot find out who is sitting to the immediate left of A. So second statement alone also not sufficient. Now combining both these statements. First we know B is sitting opposite to C, D is sitting opposite to E, okay. Now given here, F is sitting to the immediate left of B. So if we know D and D can be here, D and D can be here also, okay, anywhere. Now in this case, if F is sitting to the immediate left of B, then now facing towards center, all of you always keep in mind, facing towards center. So whenever we talk about left, it means in the clockwise direction, right anti-clockwise. So here F is sitting to the immediate left, so F will be here. Now if F is here, then D is sitting opposite to E. So D can be here, E can be here, or E and D can be like this. So A can be here. So all of you here tell me, can we find out who is sitting to the immediate left of A? No, because to the left of A you can have D also, E also. So definitely you cannot find out who is sitting to the immediate left of A. Always all of you just remember one thing, that in these type of questions you have to check whether you are getting a unique solution or not. Okay, exact position, that exactly who is sitting to the left of A. Consider the question, two statements given below. What is the age of Manisha? Manisha is statement first alone. Manisha is 24 years younger than her mother. Certainly this statement, with the help of this statement you cannot find out the age of Manisha. Statement second alone, 5 years later the age of Manisha and her mother will be in the ratio of 3:5. So now in this case, using second statement alone also you cannot find out. Now combining both these statements. Now all of you remember, in case of ratio, percent and all, if you know the ratio as well as you have the absolute value, certainly you can compare and you can find out the value. See here, no need to find out the age of Manisha. See here, 5 years later the age of Manisha will and her mother will be in the ratio of 3:5, that is 3x and 5x. Present age of Manisha will be what? 3x minus 5. Present age of Manisha, her mother will be 5x minus 5. And given Manisha is 24 years younger, so this age is what? 24 years less than this one. Certainly you can find out the value of x and you can find out the age of Manisha. But no need to find out. Yes, combining both these statements we can find out the age here. So both these statements, okay, sufficient to answer the question. Now next question is 6 lectures A, B, C, D, E and F, each of 1 hour duration, are scheduled between 8 am and 2 pm. Consider the question and the two statements given below. First question is, which lecture is in the third period? Okay, so the question here is, which lecture is in the third period? Now the two statements, okay, individually. First is, lecture F is preceded by A and followed by C. So preceded by A and followed by C, so you have kind of AFC in this manner. Definitely you cannot find out which lecture is third period. Second statement, again there is no lecture after lecture B. Again using this one also you cannot find out third period. Now combining both also you cannot find out which lecture is your third period. Which lecture is in the third period? You know B is last, but certainly you cannot find out third period. So here again what will be the answer? Both the statements 1 and 2 together not sufficient. Now all of you here, you know what do you find? That the data sufficiency questions are easier here. The data sufficiency questions are really very easy here, and they have got so many questions of data sufficiency, and all the questions are very simple. See, the thing is, if you understand the concept of data sufficiency, you can answer the questions easily. And out of all the data sufficiency questions, hardly one question can be little trickier, otherwise rest of the questions are really very easy. See, as I said in the beginning, here in CSAT, what is the real art? Real art is selection of questions. Just you need to select the questions which you can answer easily. We have seen there are few questions which are trickier, also lengthy, complicated. So what you should do? You have to leave such questions in exam. Okay. Okay. One thing keep in mind, you are not here to prove yourself. Okay. Neither you are here to become Ramanujan or Sakuntala Devi. आपका टारगेट क्या है? Just to qualify. You have to see how you can score, more than 66 marks. That must be your target. Now all of you, this question number 54, this is one of the most difficult question, okay, of CSAT of all time. And the worst part of this question is it's kind of open to interpretation, how you interpret the question. And this is one such question which if you get in exam, you don't attempt it at all. Leave the question at one go. Given, let A, B and C represent distinct non-zero digits. Suppose X is sum of all the possible 3-digit number formed by A, B and C without repetition. So A, B and C represents non-zero digits. So what are non-zero digits? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3-digit numbers are formed, okay. 3-digit numbers are formed. Suppose X is the sum of all possible 3-digit numbers. Okay. Here, which are formed without repetition. Without repetition means you cannot have numbers like 101 and all. All of you cannot have such numbers. 101 definitely you cannot take 0, so 0 is cancelled out. 111 you cannot have 111 also. 114 no, you cannot have. It means it starts from 123. It starts from where? 123, because 123 will be the smallest 3-digit number with all 3 digits being distinct. Okay, no repetition is there. All 3 non-zero digits are there. So now all of you here in this case, now X is sum of all possible 3-digit numbers. So that is 123 plus 124, 125, 126, 127, 128, 129. You cannot take 130. Again, you cannot take 131. Repetition not allowed. Then 132. Then you cannot take 133. Then 134, and so on. Now all of you here, sum of all possible. So it goes on till 987 in this manner. Consider the following statements. First, the 4-digit least value of x is 1332, and second is the 3-digit greatest value of x is 888. See, when you keep on adding them, all these numbers, okay, 123 plus 124, you get 247, and slowly the sum will keep on what? Increasing. Now all of you, from 123 to 129, if we sum all these numbers, this total sum we get 882. Okay, and after this, as soon as we add 132, 882 plus 132, so all of you, we get how much? 1014. So now all of you, what we see here, that the 3-digit greatest value, that is 123, 124, 125, like this, the 3-digit greatest value of x is what? 882, and the least 4-digit value, that is till here 882, then next number 132, as soon as you add 132, you get 1014. So the smallest possible value of x, you get here 1014. So all of you here, neither 1 nor 2 is correct. Neither 1 nor 2 is correct. Now given there is a number lock which has 3-digit pin. The pin contains digits 1 to 7. There is no repetition of digits. The digits in the pin from left to right are in decreasing order. Any 2 digits in the pin differ by at least 2. How many maximum attempts does one need to find out the pin with certainty? So all of you here in this case, so from left to right in decreasing order. So here it means, what are the different possibilities? Okay, what are the different possibilities? That can be the maximum number of attempts. So what can be the possible pins? See, difference is what? Differ by at least 2, any 2 digits. So it means here it can be like 753, because in decreasing order left to right, 753. Then we can have 7 4 2. You can have 7 3 1. So all of you, in this manner you check what are the possibilities. You can have 7 4 and then 1. You can have 7 4 1 also. You can have 7 5 and 2 also. You can have 7 5 and 1 also. So in this manner all of you check how many possibilities are there. In this manner you check just how many possibilities are there. So total number of possibilities you get is 10. Total number of possibilities you get is 10, because here in just in the decreasing order. See, remember here you are getting 6, then with respect to 6 you can have 6 4 2, you can have 6 4 1, you can have 6 3 1, and then with respect to 5 5 3 1. This is only possible. So all of you here, what will be the answer? The answer will be 10. The answer will be 10. 6 ways, 3 ways and your 1 way, because you cannot have any digit lesser than 5 here. Now all of you here given there are 8 equidistant points on a circle. So this is circle, 8 equidistant points are there. How many right angle triangles can be drawn using these vertices and taking the diameter as one of the side of the triangle? Now all of you, for example, if I take this one as diameter, okay, this one as diameter, then all of you here in this case we know that any triangle drawn within semicircle is what? A right angle triangle. You know, certainly the vertices must be on the circumference. So how many triangles? 3 on this side, similarly 3 on the other side, 3 plus 3, 6 triangles. Now 6 triangles can be formed, okay, if this one is the diameter, okay. Now all of you here in this case in how many ways we can select different diameter? 1, 2, 3 and 4. So in 4 different ways we can have 4 different diameters here, okay, by taking 2 points, and then from each diameter how many triangles? We get 6 triangles. So total 6 into 4, that is 24 triangles. We get total 6 into 4, that is 24 triangles. Next question, given 24 men and 12 women can do a piece of work in 30 days. In how many days can 12 men and 24 women do the same piece of work? So given 24 men plus 12 women can complete the work in 30 days, and you have to find out in how many days 12 men and 24 women complete the same work. Now all of you here in this case what we see? 24 men, the number of men becomes half, the number of women becomes just double. Now tell me, do we know the relation between men and women? No, we don't know the relation between men and women. We don't know whether their working capacity is same or different. So if we don't know whether their working capacity is same or different, then all of you in this case what will be the answer? Data is inadequate to draw any conclusion. Data is inadequate to draw any conclusion. Now all of you, the next question. Now you know this one is really an easy question. Why this one is easy question? The question says what is the remainder when this number 91, 92, 93 is divided by 1261. Now here in such type of question the possibility is there, you know, that this product will be what? Divisible by 1261. And all of you, 91 into 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98 and 99. You have to check what will be the remainder when this number is divided by 1261. Now all of you here look at the first number 91. Now all of you in any such question, okay, first thing you need to do, first one only, 91 you can write it as 13 into 7. So if you can write it as 13 into 7, then all of you just see whether this 1261 is divisible by 13. Because we know that if this product will be divisible by 1261, then definitely divisible means what? Remainder 0. So 13 you just divide and check. 13 9 ja 117 and then 91. So 97 times it goes, and then this 97 and 97 you can cancel out. So it means this number, okay, is perfectly divisible by 1261. Perfectly divisible by 1261, it means what will be the remainder? The remainder will be 0. Now all of you, next question, question number 59, consider the following statements, okay, in respect is, this is not is, this is in respect, okay, of a rectangular sheet of length 20 centimeter and breadth 8 centimeter, okay. This is breadth, suppose 20 centimeter, sorry 8 centimeter, and the length is 20 centimeter, okay. Now given it is possible to cut the sheet exactly into 4 square sheets. See, now here in this case we have to just see whether we can cut it exactly in form of 4 square sheets. All of you can apply your common sense also. If suppose I take 4, so 5, 5, 5, 5, and then this is 8, no, not possible. Any other way, not possible. If mathematically you want to find out, okay, then see here, total area will remain same, 20 into 8, total area is what, 20 into 8, that is 160 centimeter square. If there are 4 square, exactly 4, so what will be the area of each? 40 centimeter square. So all of you, can we find out? No. So because in that case the length of each side will be what, root 40. You cannot have length of each side as root 40. Now all of you just look at the other possibility. It means you cannot have squares of equal size. You cannot have squares of equal size. Now all of you, let's check. This is 20, this is 8, okay. Now this also 8, this also 8. Now you have 2 squares of size 8 into 8, 8 into 8. Okay. Now this one will be what? 4. This one is 8. Okay. So it does not seem like, okay, 4 and 8. See, let me make it in this manner. This is 4. This is 8. Okay. Now all of you, can we have 4 and 4? So can we have 4 into 4, 4 into 4, 2 squares? Because here in this case it is not saying, okay, that all these squares must be of equal size. It is not saying that all these squares must be of equal size. So all of you here in this case, so yes, you can have 2 squares of size 8 by 8 and you can have 2 squares of size 4 by 4. So here see, total area 64, 64, 128, 16, 16, 32, 128 plus 32, 160. Yes, exactly, you are getting. So yes, first one is correct. It is possible to cut this sheet exactly into 4 square sheets. It is possible. So all of you, first statement is correct. Now the second statement, all of you, the second statement is, it is possible to cut the sheet into 10 triangular sheets of equal area. Now here in this question it is saying 10 triangular sheets of equal area. So all of you, now here in this case, this is 8, this is your 20 centimeter. Now, is it possible? Now, all of you, again here also the same concept. First is total area must be same. So, now the total area 20 into 8, that is 160 centimeter square. So, 160 centimeter square. Now, all of you, this 160 centimeter square is the total area. 10 triangular sheets of equal area, it means 10 triangles. So, what will be the area of each triangle, because given the triangles, all the triangles are of equal area. So, 16 centimeter square. So, all of you, can we have triangles of area 16 centimeter square? Now, we know this half into base into height. What is the area of triangle? Half into base into height. So, half into base into height equals to 16, that is base into height equals to what? 32. So, now all of you, we have this one as 8. So, now here if we have triangle, okay, that is this one 8 centimeter, this one as 4 centimeter. So, what will be the area of this triangle? Area of this triangle will be half into 8 into 4, that is 16. This triangle also area will be same 16. So, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. So, how many? We can divide it into 5 rectangles, and in each rectangle we can get 2 triangles of area 16 centimeter square. So, yes, all of you, it is possible to cut this sheet into 10 triangular sheets of equal area. So, what will be the answer? The answer is option C, both 1 and 2. Answer here is option C, both 1 and 2. Now, next question. Given when 70% of a number x is added to another number y, the sum becomes 165% of the value of y. 70% of x, that is 0.7x plus y equals to 165% of y, that is 1.65y. It means you can say 0.7x equals to 0.65y. So, x upon y equals to what? 0.65 by 0.7. So, if x is 13, y is 14. Now, next time given when 60% of number x is added to another number z, 0.6x plus z equals to 1.65z. So, 0.6x equals to 0.65z. So, x upon z equals to 0.65 upon 0.6. So, here 13 upon 12. So, now all of you, it means if x is 13, y is 14, z is 12. So, here z is less than x is less than y, z less than x less than y, because if x is 13, y is 14, z is 12. So, smallest z here, then x, then y. Now, next question, what is the smallest number greater than 1000 that when divided by any of the numbers 6, 9, 12, 15 and 18 leaves a remainder of 3. This is very common question of LCM. This is the question of common remainder. So, 6, 9, 12, 15 and 18. So, the LCM of 6, 9, 12, 15 and 18, we get how much? 180. And see, smallest 4-digit number divisible by 180. First we find out the smallest 4-digit number here divisible by the LCM. So, here all of you, you can find out by dividing 1000 and then finding remainder and then the difference and adding, or simply if you remember the table of 18, 180 into 6 is what? 1080. So, 1080 will be definitely the smallest 4-digit number here divisible by 6, 9, 12, 15 and 18. and all of you, what remainder you want? You want remainder 3, you add 3, so 1083. You want remainder 3, you add 3, you get 1083. Next, given here, let P be a 2-digit number and Q be the number consisting of the same digits written in reverse order. Given if P into Q equals to 2430, then what is the difference between P and Q? Okay. So now all of you here, in this case, see, one thing is clear, that if any number, suppose if P is written like this, P is written in this form x, y, then what is the numerical value of P? Numerical value of P is 10x plus y, and Q is written in this form, just reversing the digits, yx, then what is the numerical value? 10y plus x. So when you find out the difference between P and Q, okay, so difference between P and Q here, so if I calculate in this manner, so 10x plus y minus 10y plus x, so you get 9x minus 9y, that is 9 into x minus y, 9 into x minus y. Okay. So now the difference between P and Q will be what? 9 into x minus y. Now we have to find out the difference between x and y. Now all of you see here, this is interesting now and very important. If P into Q is 2430, now if the product of two numbers is 2430, that is here the unit digit is what? 0, then one thing is clear, that in one of the numbers the unit digit will be what? 5, and in the other number the unit digit will be even number. The other number, the unit digit will be what? An even number, that is, see, it can't be 0 here. So 0, 2, 4, 6 or 8, but it can't be here 0. So possibility is 2, 4, 6 or 8. Why it cannot be 0? Because reversing the digit also you must get a 2-digit number, okay. Then it will not be a valid 2-digit number now. So now all of you, one thing is clear, the number is in the form of 5 into 5y into y5, okay. Now this number is in the form of 5y into y5, and this is coming equal to what? 2430. This is written in this form, 5y into y5, okay. All of you, this is written in this form. So now all of you here, the only possibility is 54 into 45. You get equal to 2430. 54 into 45. See here how you can, solve it easily. 50 into 50 is 2500. So both the numbers will be around 50 only, because the product is 2430. The digit here is 5. So if here you have 5, so it will be certainly 50 something. So 50 something into any value little less than 50, the product will be 2430. So all of you here, in this case, 54 into 45, you get 2430. Then what is the difference between x and y? That is here the two digits, the difference between x and y is what? 1. This difference is 1. So x minus y difference is 1. Then what will be the value? 9. 9 into 1, 9. 9 into 1, 9. So all of you here, the answer is 9. Now next question, consider the following statement with respect of two natural numbers p and q such that p is a prime number and q is a composite number. Now all of you here, in this case, given first, which of the above statements are correct? P into q can be an odd number. Now all of you, in these type of questions now, these words they play very important role. Whenever it is saying can, it means it is talking about the possibility. Just you check that yes, whether it is possible or not, one of the possibilities. When it says must or definitely, then it means that it has to be followed in each and every case. Now here in can means you just find out whether any one case is also possible. So all of you now, here this question you can solve it easily. P into Q can be an odd number. Now given two natural numbers such that P and Q, P is prime number and Q is a composite number. So P is prime number, Q is composite number. So P is 3, suppose Q is 9. Q is 9, then 3 into 9, 27. Yes, it is odd number. Now Q by P, that is 9 by 3. 9 by 3 you get 3. Yes, 3 is a prime number. First is also possible, second is also possible. Third is P plus Q can be a prime number. So now if I take P as 2, because remember 2 is also a prime number, and Q as 9, Q is a composite number. Q is a composite number. Now P plus Q, that is 2 plus 9, you get 11. Yes, 11 is also prime number. So all the three cases are what? Yes, they are possible, can be. Next, question number 68. Consider the following statements: between 3:16 p.m. and 3:17 p.m. both hour hand and minutes hand coincide. See, we know that after 3 o'clock, hour hand and minute hand they coincide around 3:15. And what is the exact time? See, here the shortcut is, what is the value of 3 in terms of minute? 15. So 15 you multiply by 12 by 11 minutes. So you get 180 by 11. 180 by 11 minutes means what? 16/4 by 11. That is exactly at 3:16/4 by 11. Exactly at 3:16/4 by 11, hour hand and minutes hand they coincide. So all of you, yes, 3:16/4 by 11. 16/4 by 11 will be what? Between 3:16 and 3:17 only, correct? Now second is between 4:48 and 4:59, both minute hands and second hands coincide. See, after 4 o'clock, remember they will coincide around 4:20 now. See, apply your common sense. This second one you can find out directly that this second one is wrong. It is talking about 4:48 and 4:49. See, hour hand will be here, minute hand will be around here. How they will coincide? Definitely they will not coincide. So second one is wrong, and we know after 4 o'clock exactly at what time they coincide. 20 into 12 by 11 minutes, that is 240 by 11 minutes, that is 21/9 by 11. It means exactly at what time? 4, 21/9 by 11 they coincide. Now all of you here, given there are two containers X and Y, X contains 100 ml of milk and Y contains 100 ml of water. 20 ml of milk from X is transferred to Y after mixing well. 20 ml of mixture in Y is transferred back to X. If M denotes the proportion of milk in X and N denotes the proportion of water in Y, then which one of the following is correct? See here, if you are a beginner, okay, X, Y, milk, water, 100 ml, 100 ml, 20 ml is transferred. Now the quantity of milk here 80 ml. The quantity here, water will be same 100 ml, milk will be 20 ml. What will be the ratio of water and milk here? 5:1. 100 and 20, 5:1. If they will be mixed, the ratio of water and milk will be what? Same, 5:1. Now, if 20 ml of mixture is transferred, if 20 ml of mixture will be transferred, then all of you, here this 20 ml of mixture will contain how much milk and water? See, since we have to find out, see, m denotes the proportion of milk in x. So, can we find out the quantity of milk in x and then the quantity of water here? So, now this 20 ml, it will contain how much milk? This ratio of water and milk is what? 5:1. So, what will be the quantity of milk? 1/6 into 20, that is 10/3. So, now what will be the total quantity of milk here? 80 ml plus 10/3 ml. And what will be the quantity of water here? See, how much water will be transferred? 5/6 into 20, that is 50/3. So, what will be the quantity of water remaining here? From 100 ml, 50/3, that is 100 ml minus 50/3 ml. So, all of you, you solve it, you get 250/3 ml. This one also you solve it, you get 250/3 ml. Now, all of you here in this case, definitely both the quantities is coming what? Same. Both the quantities coming same. Is it clear? Here also 250/3, here also 250/3, the quantity of milk and water, okay, in x and y. Definitely m will be equal to n. Now, all of you here in this question, see if your concept is clear now, then you can solve it orally. How? Here in this question, see, x and y both contains 100 ml, 100 ml. So, total quantity of milk and water will remain same, 100, 100, and total will remain 200. Now, transfer is taking place. First 20 ml milk is transferred here and then 20 ml of mixture is transferred back. So, certainly the total quantity of milk and water will remain, that is the quantity of milk, whatever will be the quantity of milk in first one, that is x, same will be the quantity of water in the second one, because the same quantity mixture is taking place. So, directly also you can find out that the whatever will be the quantity of milk, same will be the quantity of water here, and whatever will be the quantity of water here in x, same will be the quantity of milk in y, because changes are taking place in the same manner. Now, all of you, this question, this one is very easy one. We know this total value, pie chart, this total value is what? 360 degree. So, here this is divided into 5 parts, okay. So, out of it, these 5 parts, 90, 50. So, from 360 degree you subtract 90 degree plus 50 degree plus 45 degree plus 75 degree. So, when you subtract it, you get total 100 degree. So, it means whatever this A is, this A is 100 degree. So, you have to find out the value of 100 degree in terms of percent. You know 360 degree equals to 100%. So, if 360 degree equals to 100%, then 100 degree will be equal to what? 100 upon 360 into 100. So, that is 250 by 9%. 250 by 9%. This one was easy question. So, see, we find that after going through the questions now, yes, there are easy questions also. It means definitely you can find around 20-25 questions which you can solve and qualify this paper. But yes, finding those questions which are easy to solve is the biggest challenge. So now all of you here, 15 into 14 into 13 up to 3 into 2 into 1 equals to 3 to the power m into n, where m and n are positive integers. Then what is the maximum value of m? See here, 3, 6, 9, 12 and 15. They are only multiple of 3. This is 3 to the power 1. From here also you get 1 multiple of 3. Here you get 3 square, that is 2 multiple of 3. Here 4 into 3, that is you get 1 multiple of 3. This is 3 into 5, here also you get 1 multiple of 3. So total how many multiple of 3 you get? 3 to the power 1 into 3 to the power 1 into 3 square into 3 to the power 1 into 3 to the power 1. So 3 to the power 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1, that is 3 to the power 6. So what will be the value of m? M will be 6. Again this was very easy question. Now what is the x in the sequence 2, 12, 36, 80, 150x? You know, this is one of the most common question of series. Okay. If you would have solved, you know, 30, 40 questions also earlier now, then certainly you will find this question. There. See, this 2 is 2, 12, 36, 80, 150x. See, this 2 is actually 1 plus, that is 1 square plus 1 cube. This 12 is 2 square, 4 plus 2 cube, 4 plus 8. This 36 is 3 square plus 3 cube, 3 square 9 plus 27. This 80 is 4 square plus 4 cube. This 150 is 5 square, 25 plus 5 cube, 125. So this one will be what? 6 square plus 6 cube, that is 36 plus 216, that is 252. That is 252. Now all of you, this next question number 76, one non-zero digit, one vowel and one consonant from English alphabet in capital are to be used in forming passwords such that each password has to start with a vowel and end with a consonant. Okay. How many such passwords can be generated? So one non-zero digit, one vowel and one consonant. It means so here this password will contain how many digits or vowels or alphabets? So it will contain total 3. First one will be vowel, last one will be consonant and this one will be digit. So how many vowels are there? Total there are 5 vowels. So this space can be filled in 5 ways. Non-zero digits, we know non-zero digits from 1 to 9, total 9 digits. And consonants, all of you, how many consonants? Out of 26 alphabets, you know, 5 vowels, then remaining 21 consonants. So 105 into 9, you get 945. So total how many such passwords can be generated? 5 into 9 into 21, that is 945. So all of you. Now here the next question, given there are 9 cups placed on a table arranged in equal number of rows and columns, out of which 6 cups contain coffee and 3 cups contain tea. In how many ways can they be arranged so that each row should contain at least 1 cup of coffee? So now all of you here, this question, again see 3 cups are there like this. So here given, in how many ways can they be arranged so that each row should contain at least 1 cup of coffee? So at least 1 cup of coffee, then all of you here, there are 2 possible ways. It means that you can have 3 cups of coffee here, 2 cups of coffee here, 1 cup of coffee here. Okay. Now, or out of 3, 3, 3, you can have 2 cups of coffee here, 2 cups of coffee here, 2 cups of coffee here. Okay. This is the possibility. So now here this arrangement, okay, this can be arranged into 3 factorial ways. and now here this one 3 coffees, okay, so all 3 coffees, so you will have only one way. Now here if you have 2 coffee, okay, so now here you can have 2 coffee, so you can have 2 coffee here, or you can have 2 coffee here, or you can have 2 coffee here. So here you can have tea in how many ways? 3 ways. And if you have 1 plate coffee here, then here again you can have tea in how many ways? 2 or 2 or 2, like this, that is 3 ways. So it becomes total 3 factorial into 3 ways, that is 6 into 3 into 3, that is 54 ways. And here 2 to 2, so here 2 to 2, there will be no, in how many ways it can be arranged? Only one way, 2 to 2 only, so one way. And then now all of you here in this case, so 2 coffee, 2 coffee, 2 coffee, so here 1 tea, so 3 ways, 3 ways, 3 ways, because you can have 1 tea here or 2, 1 tea here or 1 tea, you can arrange in how many ways? 3 different ways. So similarly here, so 3 into 3 into 3, total you get 27. So here you get 54, this one you get 27, so total it becomes 54 plus 27, that is 81. Total you get 54 plus 27, that is 81. Now given next one, sum of 3 consecutive integers is equal to their product. How many such possibilities are there? See here, this is very common. If you take the integers as 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, so 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6, 1 into 2 into 3 is also 6. Now if you take the integers, 3 consecutive integers, so you can take the integers minus 1, 0, 1, so minus 1 plus 0 plus 1, you get 0, and then minus 1 into 0 into 1, this one also you get 0, so this is second such possibility. Then minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, these are also 3 consecutive integers, so minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, you get minus 6, as well as minus 1 into minus 2 into minus 3, you get minus 6, so yes 3, so you have, yes, you have 3 possibilities. So answer is option C. What is the number of numbers of the form 0.xy where x and y are distinct non-zero digits? So all of you, distinct non-zero digits. So if y can be filled in 9 ways, then x can be filled in 8 ways, because we know that there are total 9 digits, okay, 9 non-zero digits. So if y can be filled in 9 ways, then x can be filled in 8 ways, because x and y are what? Distinct, different. So total 8 into 9, that is 72. And we come to the last question of this handout. Okay. Now all of you, this question, okay, given the average weight of ABC is 40 kg, the average weight of BDE is 42 kg. See, average weight you know, A plus B plus C by 3 equals to 40, that is A plus B plus C equals to what? 120. Then B plus D plus E average, so B plus D plus E by 3 is 42, so B plus D plus E equals to what? 42 into 3, 126. Now when you sum them up, so A plus 2B plus C plus D plus E equals to 246. Now all of you, given here F is equal to that of B, given F is equal to that of B, so here instead of 2B we can write 1B here, and we can write 1B as F, equals to 246. So A plus C plus D plus E plus F, sum of these 6 weights is what? 246. So what will be the average? The average will be 246 by 6, that is 41. So here the answer is 41 kg. So all of you, with this we are done with the explanation of your quantitative aptitude and reasoning part of your CSAT 2022. We started on 5th, okay, we are finishing on 6th. Okay, so I have tried to kind of discuss all the questions of maths and reasoning of this year CSAT paper in detail, in as much detail as was possible here for the discussion. I hope it will benefit you all. See, in CSAT, all of you, please remember one thing: you cannot take this paper for granted. You cannot be overconfident in this paper. Believe me, you need to practice. See, whether you are good in maths or reasoning and verbal ability or not, still you need to practice few papers. And the best way to practice is solve previous year question paper. Now those of you who will be appearing next year or next to next year, certainly you will be also watching this video. Whenever you watch the video, just go through the questions, you try the questions on your own. Just see how many questions you are getting correct on your own, and then you just cross check. So all of you, this paper is not that tough. Yes, as I said, selection of questions is very important, but you need to practice. You cannot be overconfident. Remember, if this UPSC, this CSAT is GS paper 2 now. So if this is part of UPSC, then you need to devote some time for it all as well. And remember, maths and reasoning is all about practice. This is not arts that you can just sit and watch the video. You can listen to the videos or you can listen to the explanation. No. You need to solve the questions on your own. Maths is all about practice. Reasoning is all about practice. More the number of questions you will solve, more comfortable you will get. So all of you, all the best for your future exams. Take care, study hard, and most importantly, keep smiling. So goodbye, take care. हो गया माइक आपने म्यूट कर दिया हो गया मैं सीसा
Good evening, everyone. So I'll be discussing the CSAT verbal questions today. Today was the CSAT paper for 2022. This is set A that I'll be discussing. So we have conducted several classes for the kind of verbal questions that have been asked this year. It's there is one telling change that I would like to discuss before we get started in this year's paper in terms of verbal as compared to other years. If you notice here, the telling change is that more than 80% of the questions were easy. Last year, this wasn't the case. Last year, several questions were higher in terms of level of difficulty. More important is the fact that easier and clearer to understand question stems. Question stems are those which tell us what to do with the passage. Those are the things that will tell us we should look for assumptions, we should look for inferences and things of that nature. This year, very basic question stems were used. There was some difference in terms of the length of the passages. Passages were longer. Some passages were on an average longer than what is seen we've seen before. However, most of them were very clear and easy to read. Conceptually, there may be, we can say, two passages which were challenging. One was about evolution and the other was about income. We'll discuss those passages. Average length of passages, like I said, was more than before. Now, most questions were easy. Now, this brings us to the key skill which we discuss over and over in class. And that skill is that the skills that you need is identification of level of difficulty. This is actually applicable in the exam. And this is applicable throughout the solving process, which is simplification and evaluation. This is what the exam expects us to do when we are solving verbal passages. Can we simplify any topic, unknown topic? With the topic, we do not have any context for that topic. We aren't told the title of that topic. We aren't told the subtitle of that topic. We're supposed to read that passage and figure out what the context of that passage is. Then based on that, we'll be provided with a question stem and we'll be expected to select from one of these options. I mean, the process is very familiar to everyone, but the only thing that I'm trying to repeat is we approach this from a very methodological process in terms of when we do this in the classes. I make sure that we go through it in a stepwise pattern. So the best possible replication of that stepwise pattern in the exam is going to bring us the highest possible accuracy, right? Okay. I just want to get started with the questions as quickly as possible. I know most of you are tired today and you're expecting the answer keys as quickly as possible. So we'll get started with the questions. Right. Now, what I want you to remember is that in terms of level of difficulty, the reason why I brought it up is identification of level of difficulty during the paper is very important because it tells you at what point to solve a particular passage or at what point you shouldn't solve a particular passage. Sometimes you need to, defer solving a passage for later. Like, for example, a good passage to use as an example would be the creationist and Darwinism passage, right? That was probably one of the most hardest passages in today's paper. Still not as hard as compared to some of the passages that were asked in the previous year's papers, but that would be ideally a passage that you defer. You solve that at a later stage. So one of the things that we learn to look at during our classes is this sign, which is 2 passages, 4 questions, 3 passages, maybe you can, 8 questions. It depends from the different arrangement that the examiners have made, but it sort of gives us a snapshot into how much time this set of verbal questions could take. Okay. Now that's the key thing in terms of, again, you have to maximize your attempt. I think sir has covered everything in terms of LR and quant. I'll be covering all the other questions, the verbal questions, and sir has actually discussed how you would be approaching the difficult questions. In verbal also, the same thing applies in terms of you have to not only think in terms of accuracy, but you also have to think in terms of time. Time management comes into play in paper 2, especially paper 1 also sometimes, but especially for paper 2, right? So the level of difficulty and identification of level of difficulty are 2 skills that we spend some time in class so that we can precisely optimize this time challenge. Okay, so we'll see the questions. What I want you to realize is that when we read a particular passage, like I said, we follow a very strict method, and that method is we are looking to simplify, right? Consciously looking to simplify. Most of us read something and we try to simplify it at the back of our mind. But the more conscious this process is going to be, the more accurate our results are going to be, right? So our focus is on consciously simplifying the passage. So to do the same, what I want all of you to do in today's, I'll show you one passage first, right? Here's the passage. I'll be discussing this passage in detail. What I want you to remember is, just like this, we discuss questions in class. We discuss them from the point of view of, just a minute. We discuss the passages from the point of view of how best can be simplified. Sometimes that means we are required to oversimplify questions as well, right? So all I want you to do when you read a particular passage in the presentation that I'm making, that only read highlighted parts, right? This is actually the most important skill that I try to impart during all of my CSAT classes. How do I simplify something such that I can quickly use it, answer interpretative questions, but answer them objectively, answer them with evidence in my hand, right? So just read the highlighted parts, and based on the highlighted parts, we will answer all questions, right? So I'll discuss how to read them of course, but just keep that information in mind. So for any later doubt that you may have about the passages, I just want you to go through the highlighted part and then the question, right? Okay. So let's get started with the first passage. Now, this is how I expect you to read it. Not in the exam, the first reading, this is not going to take place. Of course, we all read the initial section of the passage probably once or twice. Most of us will end up reading it twice. That's because our mind is trying to come up with some context. कि क्या बोल रहा है author? Exactly क्या बोलना चाहता है, right? So in the second reading of the passage, I want us to actually reach the stage where you can consciously simplify the passage to this stage, right? If you read it like this, the main threat to human development comes from unsustainability of production and consumption patterns. Current production models rely heavily on fossil fuels. This resources are finite. This is of course implied by the fact that production models rely on fossil fuels. But both of these, this entire sentence, especially the highlighted parts, are going to help us answer one question for sure. Now, the close link between economic growth and emissions should be severed. So you should separate economic growth from emissions. And that's the way to become truly sustainable. Some developed countries alleviate by expanding recycling. So one of the ways to alleviate the challenges of sustainability is to expand recycling and invest in public transport and infrastructure. Developing countries are hampered. What are they hampered by? Costs and availability of clean energy. These are the two things which hamper developing countries. Developed countries need to support developing countries. These are only the words marked in yellow are going to help us answer all the questions that are relevant in terms of the passage, because we've figured out essentially what the author wants to communicate to us, right? Now let's see the first question. Unsustainability in production pattern is due to which of the following? Now, expansion of recycling, this is not the cause discussed in the passage. Unsustainability of production patterns, like I said, exact place which we had marked was this sentence. Unsustainability comes from consumption patterns and production patterns fluctuating. They fluctuate based on fossil fuel use and resources being finite. These are the two reasons, right? Now, these exact two reasons, which we have also marked, will help us answer this question. Heavy dependence on fossil fuels, heavily rely has been mentioned directly in the passage, and resources are finite, so limited availability of resources. The right choice for question 1 is A. All right. Now let's see the next one. So here we have question 2. Now consider the following statements. This is a simple fact-based question, right? Earlier, multiple questions used to come like which of the following is the best, most rational assumption, most rational inference, so on and so forth, right? These complicated question stems used to be asked. Some of you who had the time to consciously practice a few previous year papers would have noticed कि ऐसे type के difficult question stems पूछते हैं. But this time, most of the questions look simple. They are in fact simple. Question 2, however, there are 2 questions in the entire paper which seem to be, in terms of the answer, there seems to be some uncertainty. And that's because this is actually an inference kind of question, but it's asked like a fact question. Let's see what the question is asking us to do. Developed countries can support transition to sustainability by. How can developed countries support transition? So if you remember, the last part of the passage recommends us to transition, recommends developing countries to help in transition. Developed countries need to support. But how do they support? Here, developing countries are hampered by cost and availability of clean energy sources. That's what they're hampered by. And developed countries are becoming sustainable by expanding recycling and public transport, right? Infrastructure also, but these are the ways in which developing countries are working on the problem. So our answer is going to be a combination of these 2 final statements, right? Okay. So developed countries can support transition by 1, making clean energy sources available at low cost. This is definitely true, right? We have been told in the passage that cost is a problem and availability of sources is a problem. Both the things clearly mentioned are there in option 1. So this is a definite choice, right? This is where we enter into a problematic area. This is an inference kind of a statement. Providing loans, we know costing is a problem, but providing loans, and that too at nominal interest rates, ye bataya nahi hai passage. But if we consider this as something based on can support, which of these in theory could support a developing country? So based on the words can support, we are going with both and B. However, this question is entirely dependent on how to interpret this. If we interpret this as an inference question, then yes, both of these could be possible. But if we take this as a complete cold factual question, then this is our choice. So based on these words alone, I'm going with option B, although this could be subject to change. All right, there is only another question in which this debate would arise. Otherwise, all the other questions are clear, direct questions. All right, let's see the next one. Okay, so here again, please read the passage. Those of you who think I'm going too fast and so on and so forth, you can pause the video. The reason why I've highlighted the passages in this way is to help make sure that you understand every aspect of the passage, right? So let's read the passage. Unless those who are responsible for destroying environment are checked and afforestation is taken up, climatic conditions and soil erosion will become worse, right? And it will become worse to a degree where agriculture will become impossible. So these are the two things that need to be done: check environmental destruction and conduct afforestation. Otherwise, agriculture will become impossible. Now, the desert areas are increasing. This is what the passage tells us. This is the consequences of large-scale deforestation. Desert areas happen due to large-scale deforestation. We are given examples of it, clear examples of it. And then we are told how they became deserts. They used to be lush green forests with perennial streams. Now, used to be ka matlab kya ki now they are not. So we don't really need to focus on the rest half of the passage. Of course, we'll read it once, but there are only a few select words that I expect students who have learned to simplify to focus on. That way, we know the few words to refer to and to be as accurate as possible. Okay, so let's see the questions relevant to this passage. All right. According to the passage given above, deforestation and denudation will ultimately lead to which of the following? Now, shortage of land for the common man, this being caused, is nowhere discussed in the passage, right? So this is totally beyond scope. This is not factually related to deforestation ultimately leading to shortage of land. However, 1 and 3 are directly mentioned. Soil resources, soil erosion is the reason we are discussing deforestation, and lack of water for cultivation. This, in the last sentence, if you notice, lush green forests were there and perennial streams were there. That implies now water runs short. And more importantly, we don't really have to worry about any of the other choices. Just knowing that 2 is invalid makes A, B, and C invalid, right? So just based on this, we can quickly jump to C. This is also one of the tricks that you'll learn to apply in class. All right. Now, this is the next set of questions that we'll be going through. Right. Okay. Now, here I've reduced this passage to the ultimate nub. This is all you need to read in this passage. We are given examples of different expertise, like a surgeon's expertise or a shoemaker's expertise. But in politics, we are told, we presume, this word is important, we presume everyone who gets votes knows how to administer a state. This is our presumption. We think if votes mile, they can administer state. Then the author leaves us with a question: the whole state is ill. Should we not look for guidance of the wisest and the best? Shouldn't we look for experts to guide the state as well? So recommending experts in politics. This is what the passage is doing, right? All right. Now let's see the questions. Here we have the first question, question 11. Again, this is set A. Which one of the following statements best reflects the message of the author? Now, option B, let's read that first. Politicians should be selected from X. The reason why I'm saying X here, they are saying administration, but anything, let's say MBA colleges. None of these would be valid because the author does not make any such recommendation. Should be selected, kahin pe bhi bola nahi. So option B is invalid. C, devise a method of barring people from public office. Again, never stated by the author, invalid. Option D, eligibility for politicians cannot be questioned. In fact, the passage itself is questioning eligibility of politicians. It's saying ki experts ko hire karo. So D is going against the passage. B, C, and D are invalid. A is the only possible choice. This is a very easy question. We assume, this is important because the passage uses the word presume, that in a democracy, any politician is qualified to administer the state. Option A is the choice, clear choice for question number 11. All right. Now, this is again an interesting passage. One thing that I discuss in the classes, and also it's important to note that we should not be using our own knowledge. If you notice, the instructions tell us clearly to rely on the passage alone, right? Your answers to these questions should be based on passage only. Very clear, right? So don't use your own knowledge or your own opinions. Try and restrict yourself to the information in front of you in the passage. Now, the poverty line is called unsatisfactory. It's extremely narrow. This is number 1 criticism. It uses debatable methodology. This is number 2 criticism. Fundamental assumption, there is underlying fundamental assumption. This is number 3. And the fundamental assumption is poverty is income poverty, right? But the author says income poverty is only one aspect. So what is poverty according to author? Poverty of a life is lack of real opportunity, right? Due to constraints. These constraints can be social, personal, it doesn't matter. But lack of real opportunity is how the author defines poverty of a life. Now, this lack of opportunity does not give a person chances to choose something new in their life. Then the author leaves us with low incomes and meager possessions, few possessions, play a role in curtailing capabilities of people. So even income poverty, basically, income poverty also plays a role in curtailing capabilities. So the author thinks that poverty essentially is income poverty and lack of real opportunity. These two put together is a better definition of poverty according to the author, right? Okay. Now with this clarity, we move on to the question. Okay. Again, those of you who find any of the passage, any part of the passage challenging, please pause the video, reread that part which is highlighted in the passage, just the highlighted parts, and then you can go to the questions. Why is the methodology adopted in India? To count the poor debatable. Now, let's check option A. There is some confusion regarding what the poverty line. There's no confusion about what should be the poverty line. The author has indicated that the poverty line has challenges, but there's no confusion about it, right? The poverty line is narrow, it makes assumptions, so on and so forth. So challenges are there. There's no confusion regarding it. There are wide diversities in rural and urban, nowhere discussed in the passage. So both options A and B are invalid. C, there is no uniform global standard. Again, not discussed in the passage. So what is the problem in counting poor debatable? It is based on proposition of poverty as meager income or buying capacity. Basically, income poverty, right? Option D is essentially a definition for income poverty. Right. Now let's see question 13. Why is income poverty only one measure counting the poor? Now, let's start with option D in this case. Income poverty restricts only at a point of time, meaning income poverty is limited due to time. This is not stated in the passage that it has certain limitations. If you look at option C, income poverty is not a permanent condition. It changes from time to time. So income poverty changes from time to time. Again, invalid. Other deprivations have nothing to do with lack of purchasing power. The passage, in fact, tells us quite clearly that other deprivations also affect purchasing power. These affect curtailing capabilities, and therefore they'll also affect purchasing power, right? So B, C, D all are invalid. Only option A is the correct choice. It talks of only one kind of deprivation, ignoring all others. It's too narrow, right? Okay. Now this has another question. What does the author mean by poverty of a life? Now, these are especially these questions where a part of the passage is quoted. We practice this during classes, that we have to go back to that exact area and see what that interpretation could be. Of course, a simplified version, poverty is lack of real opportunity, right? And how does this play out? This happens due to constraints. And the outcome of this is people cannot choose other types of lives. This is what author means by poverty of life. Once you have this clarity, you go to the question, right? Your accuracy in that case becomes much higher. Let's read option B. Impoverished rural and urban area. Again, same thing that was mentioned prior. It's nowhere mentioned in the passage. B is invalid. C, missed opportunities in diverse personal circumstances. So this is not just about personal circumstances and missing opportunities in that area. Just availability of opportunities, lack of opportunities is discussed. So this, because of especially diverse personal circumstances, option C is invalid. Option D, material as well as non-material deprivations which restrict human choices permanently. Firstly, we don't know if the restriction is permanent, right? This is a problematic word. It goes beyond scope of what is stated in the author. And the author is not much interested in poverty of a life, discussing material as well as non-material. The author is more interested in non-material opportunity related poverty issues, right? So only option A covers that. All deprivations in a human life which stem not only from lack of income, but lack of opportunities. So this lack of income is a small part. What is more important is lack of real opportunities. Option A covers precisely what poverty of a life means compared to options B, C, and D. All right. Let's see the next passage. Okay, now, like I said, this year there were some passages which were, longer in length. And again, your reading ability, which we repeatedly go through, students often get tired during classes because of the fact that we do a lot of long passages as well. But this year, especially the fact that we do a mix of questions, we do short passages and we do long passages. This year, those students who were diligent and solved all the long passages, I guarantee that those students won't face a problem, especially because the passages are easy to read. Let's see the passage. Some places productivity has reached or has plateaued, it's stopped growing. New strains or agrochemicals are not raising productivity. And the author says, if the global temperatures continue to rise, it will be bad for farming. There is one solution though, application of technology can help overcome, right? These things could help overcome. Much of this change comes from affluent farmers, rich farmers in West Americas, right? West/Americas. Now, techniques developed are being adapted in some places. People are already adapting those techniques in some places. Then the author tells us this recommendation. Technology is useful if it is adapted. If it's not adapted, it's not useful, just sitting on a shelf. It has to be practically applied. Now, here is the author's recommendation. In the developing world, this applies to existing farming techniques, right? This applies to existing farming techniques as it does to genetic modification. Now, extending to the smallholders and subsistence farmers, how do you extend it to them? By telling them how much fertilizer to apply and when to apply the fertilizer. This will lead to increased availability of food, and better roads and storage facilities will reduce food wastage. Now, as it turns out, see, this is a long passage, but as it turns out, and at some stage in the exam, you'll realize that most of the questions are constructed only from the latter half of the passage. This part which I'm cancelling out, this is where most of the questions are coming from in this particular passage, right? So you'll have to revisit that information over and over again. Let's see. So here, unlike what we have seen frequently, back-to-back assumption questions have been asked, right? Another assumption question and another assumption question. 3 assumption questions have been asked from one passage, right? We'll see how to answer each. Now, assumptions means that there is something underlying. For example, this is a good example to think about assumptions. A tells B, go to market and buy vegetables, right? This is what A tells B. So this means if I say B knows way to market. So this is an underlying assumption of A telling B, go to the market and buy vegetables, right? So that means there has to be some relevant fact associated with that assumption. Here, development of agricultural technology is confined to developed countries. There's nothing that states in the passage that only developed countries are doing development, right? So invalid. Same way, option 2, statement 2, agricultural technology is not adapted in developing countries. Some countries in tropical regions are adapting it. We have discussed it. So here the right choice is D, right? Let's see the next one. Based on the above passage, the following assumptions have been made. 1, poor countries need to change existing farming techniques. I told you there are 2 questions in the paper which are challenging. Like, we don't precisely know what answer they would go with. Now, the reason why I'm saying this applies to question 22 also. Firstly, poor countries are not mentioned in the passage. Developed are mentioned, developing are mentioned, right? These are the only two that are mentioned. So we'll put this phrase aside. Maybe it could be valid, but the passage talks about adapting new farming techniques, adapting techniques, and then making changes to existing farming techniques. So need to change their existing farming techniques is actually partial. The author says needs to bring in adaptations to existing farming techniques, right? I'll show you the exact part where the author says this. Right? Technology is of little use if it's not adapted. In the developing world, this applies to existing farming techniques. So you need to apply technology to existing farming techniques. So here, poor countries need to change existing farming techniques is not outright stated. You need to apply new technology to existing farming techniques. So therefore, I'm going with 1 as invalid, though this could be debatable. 2 is definitely not stated. Developed countries have better infrastructure and they waste less food. Firstly, better infra is not stated anywhere in the passage. Specifically, roads and storage facilities have been discussed, but not better infra. That's a little vague phrase. And they waste less food. This also has not been discussed. So D is the right choice. There's no evidence for us to suggest statement 2. All right. Based on the above passage, the following assumptions have been made. 1, growing enough food for future generations will be a challenge. This is true. That is why the passage was written. And corporate farming is a viable option. This is not stated in the passage. So here the right choice is A. Right. Similarly, let's see the next passage. Now, this was one of those few challenging questions that I said were asked in the exam. Right. Natural selection cannot anticipate future environments on Earth. So here, natural selection cannot anticipate future. Existing organisms can never be fully prepared for environmental catastrophes. So outcome of this is that extinction of those species which cannot overcome challenges. So only those species, mark these words carefully in your mind, only those species become extinct which cannot overcome. Those who can overcome will not become extinct, right? This failure to survive is because of genomes which cannot withstand vagaries, either geological or biological vagaries. Now, extinction of species has been a major feature. Earth presently may have up to 10 million species, but 90% of pre-existing species that were alive before are now dead. So this sentence has been used by the examiners to repeatedly ask 1 or 2 data or factual sort of questions. Now, here the author goes to, once the creationist doctrines fail to satisfactorily address. So if a doctrine or a theory cannot correctly address why species die, Darwin's explanation explains in a convincing way why species die, right? That is what the author is saying. This was again one of those longer passages. Darwinian theory is not a theory. The author says it's not a theory because it's a fact. This is a fact. It's backed by scientific data. And there is no evidence of refuting that theory. That theory is backed by data. Darwinian laws are acceptable as explanations of natural phenomena. So again, those of you who find the passage challenging, please reread just the highlighted part several times. You can pause the video and the passage will become clearer to you. Now, this is one of those questions that if you, of course, most students will read option 1 first, and maybe it will be challenging, but just by reading option 2, you know what the answer to this is. All existing species would get extinct as genomes will not withstand biological mishaps. Now, the author has said only those species get extinct which cannot overcome, right? Clearly stated in the passage. Which cannot overcome will get extinct. There is nowhere in the passage has it been stated that all existing species would get extinct. If you know 2 is invalid, then A, B, and D do not work. Option C is the only possible choice. All right. Right. Let's see question 32. This is based on the same passage. The passage suggests that Darwinian theory is not a theory at all because it's a fact. backed by scientific explanations and evidence. So there is no evidence to refute it. Option C is the only possible choice. All those other options does not satisfy creationist, extinction is a function of environment, and existence is attributed to creator. All of them are invalid or beyond scope of the passage. Right? Again, a very easy question. Now, the following assumptions have been made. Only species that have the ability to overcome catastrophes will survive. We already discussed this in a question. If you notice, the same thing has been asked in a different assumption sense. This is a valid assumption. More than 90% of the species, like I said, there's some playing with this data figure. More than 90% of the species are extinct, are already extinct. This is what the passage says. They aren't in the danger of getting extinct. They are already extinct. So 2 is invalid. Once you know 2 is invalid, the only option that you're left with is option A. 3, Darwin's theory explains all natural phenomena is obviously invalid. Right? So that's a very easy one to declare invalid. Okay. Let's see the next passage. Now, with steady economic growth, higher literacy and increasing skills, due to these factors, middle class is increasing. Now, the results of this are changes in dietary patterns and more energy consumption. So what is the change in dietary pattern? Higher protein-based food. And how is energy consumption increase? More water is required to produce this food, and gadgets require energy, which requires water. So fairly simple. Rise in middle class has led to more changes in dietary patterns and more energy consumption. Right? Okay. Now let's see question 34. Which of the following best reflects the crux of the passage? We have separate classes for these kind of questions, and students had become by the end of it quite proficient. I'm sure those students wouldn't have any problem. We've seen a lot of these questions during class. Now, the only thing different about this question is, even though it asks this crux of the passage thing, you can solve this only by elimination, because D is not exactly the crux of the passage. It's implied, right? If you look at A, people should be persuaded to continue Indian diet. This is not stated in the passage. And the passage is not precisely about Indian diet. It's about rise in middle class leading to consumption of energy. So A is invalid. D, India needs to focus on agricultural productivity. The passage is not referring to agricultural productivity in any way whatsoever. It is saying that protein-rich diet requires more energy. Option C, modern technology results in change of cultural and social behavior. Again, not stated in the passage. Option D is the only possible choice, which we reach via elimination. Again, something that we practice a lot in class. Water management practices in India need to change dramatically in the coming years. All right. Let's see the next one. For 2 or 3 generations past, increasing number of individuals have been working as have been living as workers and not as human beings, basically just working. Okay, this sentence, the highlighted part, captures what the author wants to say in short. Amount of labor a person does is today's rule, and man's spiritual element cannot thrive in this situation. This is what the author wanted to communicate. Whatever little leisure time man has, he does not want to think, or he cannot even think if he wants to, right? Because of lack of time. He's just working. Amount of labor, he's just working, right? That is what is declared. The rest of the passage is not really useful to answer these questions. Now, the passage is based on the idea that man should not work hard. No one would have gone with option A. It's very easy to eliminate. Man cannot care for his spiritual welfare. This suggests that man does not have capacity, or rather we can say does not have the ability, right? But ability is not the issue. Time is the issue, because you're occupied with work. That is the issue. So ability is not the issue. So C and D are invalid. B is the only possible choice. The great evil of our age is overstrain, and that causes, this should be overstrain, that causes man to lose his spiritual side, right? Okay. Now let's see another question based on the passage. This was again a fairly easy question. Man does not seek self-improvement because not capable. Again, the same thing. This is not about ability, but whether man has time to do so. So option B is the only possible choice. Loves amusement and distracted by materialism. ये दोनों have not been stated in the passage. Okay. Right. Again, a passage where I expect students to learn to not use their own knowledge or opinions. Demographic dividend, what is it has been told? It's a window of opportunity. It's an increase in the working age population. And because of this, the relative ratio of young and old will decline. At least for a little while, that ratio of young and old will decline and working age population will increase. Now, this demographic dividend can be a source of energy, economic growth, because demographic dividend makes more savings, and savings are an important driver for growth. That's why demographic dividend is good for growth. So far, that is what the author has told us. But the benefits, here the author gives us a sort of a warning or an opinion. The benefits of demographic dividend depend on the quality of the working age population, right? Based on their quality, this will be determined. And quality with regards to what? Education, skills, and human capital. These are the criteria for quality. Okay. So fairly easy passage, benefits of demographic dividend and how those benefits could apply, right? They could apply only if there's quality. Okay. Now let's see the questions. So which of the following would invariably happen? This is a new way to phrase it. Earlier, the exam used to say which of the following is most definitely true. Something of this kind, right? Okay. Now let's read sentence 1. The number of illiterate people will decrease. This is nowhere related to demographic dividend in the passage. 3, population growth will quickly stabilize. Again, something not at all discussed in the passage. The only thing that the passage mentions is if the working age population increases, old and young population will temporarily decrease. For a while, it will decrease. So 2 is the only valid choice, right? Let's see the next one. Right. Now here, it's an inference question. One of the first direct inference questions that has been asked. Earlier, the exam used to ask multiple inference questions, single little passage followed with inference questions and single little passage followed with assumption questions. That has not been the case this year, fortunately for students, right? This is very easy to eliminate. Demographic dividend is essential to rapidly increase growth rate. This is not stated, right? Multiple ways to increase growth rate could exist. So essential makes it invalid. Similarly, higher education is essential, invalid for rapid growth. D is the clear choice in this case. Very easy inference question. All right. Let's see this passage. Now, productivity of machines will lead to life of leisure for mankind. This is what the author is saying. But leisure can be problematic. It will be tedious, tiring. Right? It will be tiring. But it will be tiring for only those people who do not do intelligent activities. Those people who do intelligent activities, they won't be tired by it. So the author gives us this condition. If leisured population is to be happy, it must be an educated population, and not just any kind of education. The author tells us a specific kind of education with a view to enjoyment, right? So this is the kind of education that people should engage in. And of course, technical knowledge. But the question, there's no question pertaining to technical knowledge. The question is pertaining to with a view on enjoyment, that sort of education one needs to take up if you want to enjoy leisure. All right. Let's see the question. Best reflects the underlying tone. Another new concoction by UPSC. This wasn't usually stated. Best reflects the underlying tone is a way of asking an assumption / inference, something that can be read between the lines, right? Only an educated population can best make use of progress. So progress here is used to talk about machine or tech progress. So that's why we need to put this option aside and make sure none of the other options follow, because passage is specifically about machines and technology. So unless all the other options are invalid, we cannot select option A. And this is the sort of inference kind of bit, like I said. Okay. So let's see option B. All development should be aimed at leisure. This is not stated in the passage. Different kinds of development could exist. B is invalid. An increase in educated people leads to increase in the happiness of its people. We know option C is incorrect because the author says if a certain kind of education is required, that education should be directed towards the enjoyment process. So B and C are invalid. D, use of machine should be encouraged. The author does not say this to create a large leisure population, right? Very clear as to why A is the only choice. Let's see the next one. Okay, now this also a fairly easy passage to read. Presents bring less thrill to us now. That is what it's saying. And that's because we either have too much already, this is one condition, or we have lost the ability to the joy of giving and the joy of receiving. This is the other reason. So either we have too many things or we have lost this joy of giving and receiving. Then the author tells us how children do not fall prey to this. That's because they do not look too forward nor too backward. This is because they have not yet learned always to add but. Basically, they are not skeptical. We adults are too skeptical. Our cares would shrink if we thought less. So the author is clearly recommending this, right? If you want to stop worrying, think less. And you should do this backed by more single-minded enjoyment on happiness. Focus on enjoyment of happiness. This happiness theme has been repeated twice in this year's paper. All right. Now, with reference to a passage, which one of the following statements is correct? All right. It is not possible for adults to feel thrilled by presence. Not possible to feel thrilled. This is not stated in the passage. It is difficult, but impossible has not been stated. The author does not know why adults feel less thrilled. Author does know. It's because we think too far, or the author uses the word skeptical. Right? The author has given us a reason. So A and C are invalid. Adults have less capacity to feel joy. This also has not, or to feel loved. This also has not been discussed in the passage. B is the right choice. There can be more than one reason why adults feel less thrilled by presence. So this is a very vague option, but since A, C, and D can definitely be eliminated, D is the only possible choice. Again, a question that can best be answered only by elimination. All right. Let's see question 53. The author of the passage is against what? Giving and receiving joy only partially. This, the author talks about the lost ability of giving and receiving joy, enjoying the process of giving and receiving joy. This giving joy partially or completely has not been discussed in the passage, right? So D is invalid. Not being thrilled by new things. This is not just new things in general. The author specifically talks about presence, right? D, being in the habit of thinking about presence. This is totally beyond scope. The author is not saying that we don't feel happy because we are obsessed about presence. The author says we have too many, right? That's a possibility. All of these are invalid. A is the only clear choice. Worrying too much about the past and future. All right. Right. Let's see this. Now, the majority of people who fail to accumulate money, the author just gives us one reason for this: influenced by opinions of others. Right? And this same point of influenced by opinions of others is repeated at the end. If your opinions are if you are influenced by opinions, you will not succeed in any undertaking. That is what the author says, right? So the implication of this is don't be influenced by opinions, right? Fairly easy if we read the passage in this way, right? Okay. Which one of the following is implied by the passage? Now, this is an implication. This means there has to be some evidence. Again, something that we learn to track. If you learn to simplify the passage, you will always know what evidence to look for. Let's read option A. Most of the people do not accumulate money. Most people do not accumulate. Not stated in the passage. Most people never fail to accumulate money. Again, not stated or implied in the passage. There is no need to accumulate money. This is useless. I don't think anyone has gone with option D at all. Option C is the right choice. There are people who fail to accumulate money for their needs. That is because they are influenced by opinion. This is the group of people for whom the passage is written. Option C is the correct choice, right? Fairly easy. Now here, what is the main idea? Just like we saw the crux question, main idea question is a separate question that we discuss in class because it's a frequently asked question, just like assumption, inference, these questions. So it's very evident what the main idea is. Like I said, just the last sentence of the passage, do not be influenced by opinions, is the main idea. People should accumulate as much money, not the main idea, obviously. People should neither give nor accept opinions. Giving or accepting opinions has not been discussed. Influence of opinion has been discussed, right? So B and C are invalid. D, people will succeed in any undertaking if they do not accept any opinion at all. Again, this is very extreme, any opinion at all, and will succeed in any undertaking. This has not been stated. Cause for failure has been mentioned. Guarantee of success has not been discussed in the passage. So will succeed is invalid. Some people may have gone with D in this case, but the right choice is A. People should not be influenced by opinions of others. All right. So it's very evident that this year's verbal section is turning out to be one of the most easiest areas. If you master this thing, which we conduct in all the CSAT classes, sir must have already discussed, that if you master understanding level of difficulty and which section to focus more on, which is also what we discuss in the passage and we discuss in classes. So that decision making, I'll focus on verbal and then I'll focus on LR maybe. Those decisions actively made is what will make sure that people optimize their attempt. This is a very simple passage. It says social order is basis of all other rights, meaning all rights rest on social order, but social order rests on conventions. Right? So this is conventions are the bottom layer on which rests social order. On top of that, all rights exist. So which of the following statements are correct? Conventions are the sources of rights of man. If conventions don't exist, social order won't exist. If social order doesn't exist, other rights will not exist. So 1, by inference, is valid. 2, rights of man can be exercised only when there is social order. Again, these rights and exercising of these rights is dependent on this existing. So the right choice here is option C. Fairly evident. This is one of those passages of a length that we are used to. Previously, these passages were asked frequently. Okay. Right. Here the author is discussing, actually the first half of the passage is not as useful. The author is, this is the most important part. The author says scientific research is probably never completely valueless. And however silly it may seem, there is always a chance that the results may be of value. This is what the author is talking about. There is always a chance that the results may be of value. If it's not original, if the research is not original, it may become futile, useless, right? Okay. But the main point to remember is scientific research, always a chance that results may be of value. Chance is the important word. All right. Now, the author's assumption about scientific research is that it is never without some value. This means it has at least some value. This is a never without some value is a different way to say at least some value. We know this because there's always a chance, as we discussed, right? A, it is never very valuable. Firstly, degrees of valuable have not been discussed. So all of these very are invalid as well, but never valuable, sometimes valuable, always valuable. This is not true. There's a chance of it being valuable, always a chance of it being valuable. All right. Now, according to the author, this is a straight up factual question. According to the author, not many research results can be of value. There's always chance, right? So not many is invalid. Research results is always valuable to an intelligent researcher or investigator. So there is chance. We need something that indicates chance. A and B are not indicating chance. C with can be of value indicates chance or odds of it being valuable. C is the right choice. Again, research result must always be of some value is invalid, must always have chance of it having some value. The chance part is missing. Here can communicates chance, and that's why C is the right choice. All right. So if you notice, all of these questions can be answered very simply if the passage is presented in your mind in a simplified way. That reading of the passage and how to simplify it is the process that we focus on in classes, right? This brings us to the last question. How can floods and droughts be addressed so that losses are minimal and the process is resilient, the systems are resilient? So author says India has this skewed water availability. It's too much during 120 days and it's too little during 245 days. So India needs to balance this out. The author says it should be managed and regulated for consumption throughout the year. So you should manage this availability, this skewed availability, such that you can use it throughout the year. Now, this brings us to an interesting question that UPSC has started asking in the past 3 years. This is almost like a GK, like a paper 1 question. Which of the following best reflects practical, rational, and lasting solution? Now, how do we know if it's lasting unless we apply some sense of GK, right? But we still need to make sure that our understanding of this process is based on what the passage is saying, and that's the last sentence of the passage, right? So let's read option A. Constructing huge concrete storage tanks and canals across the country. Now, practical, I don't know if this is going to provide water for all the people throughout the year. Second, lasting, both of these we don't know, right? It will be, of course, prone to decay. A is invalid. B, decay in the sense that it will get old and it will need upkeep and so on and so forth, right? B, changing cropping patterns. This is nowhere related. I hope no one has gone with B. C, interlinking of rivers across the country. Interlinking is not being discussed from the point of view of, at least water we know of, as a standalone solution for water problems. It's a solution for internal trade and so on and so forth, right? Multiple things, not just for water problems. So interlinking of rivers, we don't know how practical it is. We don't know how rational it is for the solution that is required according to the passage. And lasting it obviously will be, right? But on these fronts and what is required from the passage, it falls short. D, buffer stocking of water. So buffer stocking means the fluctuations will be managed, right? Fluctuations of supply will be managed by buffer stocks. So D is obviously valid. Through dams is practical, it's lasting, and recharging aquifers, obviously lasting, and all those other things. So the only possible choice here is option D, right? So which brings me to the end of my discussion. I just want to mention a few points. Make sure that to those of you who found it challenging, even the discussion, reread only the marked parts of the passage, right? Multiple times, and then go to the question. I've marked the questions in such a way. This is how we practice it in classes. I teach students to think in this manner, in this orderly manner. So we can, like I said, be very methodological in our approach and make sure that we have maximum accuracy. So reread the marked passages, reread the marked solutions. I'm sure the passage will be clear to you and the answer will be clear to you. There are 2 questions in which there may be a chance of change, although I highly doubt it. This year's paper in terms of verbal was much easier than previous year papers, and identifying the level of difficulty which we discuss in classes would have actively helped you solve more verbal questions and less other kind of questions which were challenging, right? So with this, I want to bring today's discussion to an end. I'm sure all of you are very tired, and this is all you needed to know from today's discussion. Thank you. All the best.